first time I saw this beautiful pool, it exceeded every expectation that I had. They were able to get everything we wanted in this pool. It is a beautiful pool. We live out here. We eat out here. We watch TV out here. This is like our living room outside. We love this pool and everything about it. When we decided to build our pool, we called a great friend who is one of the best pool builders in the country in North Louisiana, and we said, who would you choose to build a pool in Baton Rouge? And without a hesitation, he told us Russell Pools. He said their history, tradition of great builds, great pools was unmatched. So of course, who did we call? Russell Pools. The advice I would give to anyone looking to build a pool is first call Russell Pools. They'll do an incredible job. It'll be incredibly organized. It'll be time efficient, and you will have your pool in no time.
Flight by Yingling is raising the bar by crafting the next generation of light beer. With only 2.6 carbs and 95 calories, this is premium refreshment 6 generations in the making. Flight by Yingling. Raise the bar.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. A much-needed lift for the Ravens tonight against the Dolphins with the return of quarterback Lamar Jackson from a hamstring injury. Not only is he back, but 2-5 Baltimore had its whole 53-man roster at practice this week and could be a giant lurking in the AFC North and AFC down the stretch, says ESPN NFL analyst Dan Orlovsky.
We just don't know exactly what this year's team is going to be because the offense hasn't been whole and hasn't been healthy. And so this is a team last year that accomplished historical things. Like, what happens if this offense picks up kind of where it left off last year? And now all of a sudden, the AFC North is a completely different conversation than it was 2 or 3 weeks ago, and so is their AFC playoffs.
Dan Orlovsky on Unsportsmanlike. Ravens 2 out of the division lead and 2 out of the final AFC wildcard spot. Cardinals preparing for quarterback Kyler Murray to return from an injured foot Monday night against the Cowboys. Billionaire businessman Mark Walter unanimously approved as the new majority owner of the Lakers by the NBA Board of Governors. Nebraska signed football coach Matt Rule to a 2-year extension through 2032.
Hey, it's your resident Super Bowl champ, Chris Candy, coming up Friday. I know the Steelers are at 4-3, but I'll tell you why they're facing a can't-lose game against the Colts on Sunday. It's on Sportsmanlike, 6 a.m. Eastern, right here on ESPN Radio, ESPN2, and ESPNU.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from the Raising Cane studio.
Let's rock! Go!
And off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. It's AFR, presented by Decision Critical, concierge nursing in Baton Rouge and all over the state of Louisiana. We are not today in the Raising Cane studio. We're at a place where I guarantee you I have never worn a sport coat before, and at one point I actually had hair. We're at the journalism building here at LSU. The Manship School had a really awesome sports summit. Was thrilled to be a panelist earlier today, get to chat with the next generation of awesome media members from this great school. And doing the show here from the J Building. So if you're around LSU's campus, come on, pop in, man. It's open. We're sitting here in the Holiday Forum. We actually, hey, y'all cheer real quick. Cheer. Just cheer. Just proof that there are actually students here to watch me sit here for 3 hours and talk. God bless them. And we have lots to talk about. The governor of the state is going to join us in 1 hour. And very much looking forward to this conversation because anytime LSU hires a coach or fires a coach, it's going to be major national news cycle dominant. I've been on the LSU beat for 19 years now. This is the third time this has happened where they fired a coach and have been looking for a coach. And obviously we've talked plenty over the start of this week about firing Brian Kelly and how surprising that was to many, how quickly that escalated. But once you get over the immediate reaction of firing the coach, the story continues to develop and evolve. And it generally becomes, okay, well, when it's in season, like now this is the third consecutive coach LSU has fired in season. They fired Les Miles 4 games in. They fired Ed Ogeron in season. Now they fired Brian Kelly in season. You have these dueling storylines for the remainder of the season. Well, you have a team that's still practicing and competing to finish their season, hopefully finish it strong. And you had an open date this week, but Frank Wilson had former players back today at practice. Jacob Hester and Matt Flynn, of course, our morning show and off the bench were part of that, which is very cool to see. And the guys are preparing to try to finish the season as strong as possible. But the other part of it is, which is maybe even more exciting, because if you fired a coach, generally your season's lost, is who's going to be next. And this has taken a massive 90-degree turn a day ago when Governor Jeff Landry was in the middle of a press conference, was asked about LSU's search and Scott Woodward specifically, and said in no uncertain terms that Scott Woodward's not going to make the decision. He's not going to hire the next LSU football coach. He spoke pretty candidly about not approving of the contract structure, gigantic contracts with guaranteed buyouts. He spoke openly about putting guardrails on agents. In all of these things, as I said 24 hours ago here, I agree with him. These are very good points on contract structure and incentive-based deals, kind of like what's happened in the NFL, where you have an incentive bonus structure. I agree very much on the guardrails, on agents, and having the NCAA put some definition behind that, because what's happened is, where in the NFL and the CBA you have 3% agent fees. I've spoken with agents who have told me absolute point blank, they're rather doing NIL deals now because they can get 20% commissions, because there's no limit to what their agent fees can be. So yes, I mean, I think the governor made a lot of good points, but all of that was lost amid the seemingly, the very unorthodox way he went about discussing Scott Woodward, the athletic director, his future, who's going to make the hire. I mean, he referenced the president making the hire twice, which the president of the United States, not the president of the university, which is I think he was, I'm fairly certain he was half joking, but still, this is a thing people will take very seriously. And it's been fascinating over these last 24 hours, because I was on Feinbaum's show about an hour ago, and he asked me my thought on what the reaction has been. And the odd thing is, this is a very popular governor who was elected in a landslide and is still a very popular governor in the state. But you start messing with LSU football, man, and people are going to take a little bit of a different tact. And I think that's what's happened here, is it feels like, I'm not saying that my mentions on Twitter or email or text line are representative of the entire state, but there's certainly the people who are interacting with my show are people who care very deeply about their sports teams, which is why they're listening and interact with the show. And so, but it feels like you have people that have turned on this to where the understanding, the perception is the governor being so outspoken is hurting LSU in its search for a new coach and potentially even a new athletic director. So the governor and I did speak earlier this morning off the record, and he has agreed to come on the show today. So he's going to come on at the top of hour 2, so about 53 minutes, straight up 4 o'clock Central Time. He'll be on the show today. But after we spoke, and obviously before he'll come on, he did pop on the McAfee show. And, I think the biggest point of contention that he has is Brian Kelly's buyout, and ultimately who pays it. And it's something that he talked about yesterday in the press conference, and I took issue with him saying that he said the way he said it in his press conference was that the taxpayers were going to have to foot the bill. Well, on the McAfee show earlier today, Jeff Landry doubled down on those comments.
Listen, emphatically, I am not picking the coach. That is not my job. The only reason I'm really involved, Pat, is because this contract that currently is between the state of Louisiana, the Louisiana State University system, and Brian Kelly leaves the taxpayers of the state state on the bill. There's misinformation out there. People are saying, oh, no, the taxpayers aren't liable. They're not reading the contract. On Sunday, I had a meeting with the lawyers as they were talking about whether or not Brian Kelly was terminated, whether we were going to fire him. And all I cared about were the taxpayers of our state. And that contract binds the state of Louisiana. If we have to pay $53 million and somebody else doesn't step up to foot that bill, the state of Louisiana has to foot that bill. That is in the contract.
So that is the key sticking point, is he's voicing it publicly. And you can argue in legalities, sure, the Board of Supervisors, which is a representative of LSU, engaged in the contract with Brian Kelly. However, listen, all I have is like AI and Google, all right? I don't know any other way to look up every contract that's ever been done in the history of contracts. But I actually asked a lot of sports attorneys today. I say a lot. I spoke to 3 sports attorneys today. And I used AI and Google. And I couldn't find a single example, not one, of a state and the taxpayers having to foot the bill for a coach's buyout. So listen, my opinion, and I'm going to be very clear with this throughout all of these conversations when we talk about the firing, the buyout, the hiring of a new coach. I'm going to be very clear with you when I feel like when I am reporting something that I believe is newsworthy, and when I am giving you my opinion, okay? I'm giving you my opinion right now. This is just what I think, and I'm going to talk to the governor about this next hour. My opinion is that Jeff Landry desperately wants Scott Woodward out as LSU's athletic director. I don't even think that's a stretch. You basically heard him say it yesterday, and I think the buyout is the thing that he's able to use right now to say, I'm looking out for the state, and that's why I'm being so vocal and so active in this. And I don't know, because I could point and say, okay, Mr. Governor, there is no example ever of that any of us can find, realistically, where the taxpayers are footing the bill to pay the buyout. So LSU, through TAF, like it always does, will raise money, and it'll pay the coach's buyout. And this won't fall on the taxpayers. What else is the problem? And all the other things that he talked about, I'm very much in agreement with. And it's all things that we can have conversations about. And I'm looking forward to having him here. And I actually want to allow him the opportunity to clarify there. But there's a lot of things that I think are procedural that I want answers to that we're going to get to when the governor joins us here in hour number 2. All right, it's After Further Review. Our show Open Every Day is brought to you by Bud Light. None of y'all here drink no Bud Light if you're not of age, all right? Well, I guess y'all are. Who's of age? Who can drink? Yeah? Okay, we got a couple. That's right. Got college students here. That's right. If you're college, you're 21. Drink delicious ice cold Bud Light, the official beer of AFR, the official beer of the LSU Tigers, the official beer of the New Orleans Saints. Saints are on the road. No LSU game this weekend. So I don't know. Maybe you're going to go belly up to the bar, watch some games this weekend. Maybe you're heading out to Boots on the Bayou out at Lamar Dixon. Make sure you drink plenty of delicious ice cold Bud Light, the official beer of the LSU Tigers and the official beer of AFR. All right, y'all, it is After Further Review. We're glad you're hanging out with us here. We are at LSU today at the Journalism Building. The Manship Sports Summit earlier today. Was thrilled to be a part of it, small part of the panel earlier today. It's a great resource for the next generation of Manship graduates that will be coming out of LSU, and thrilled to be here today to do the show here on site. So let me do this. We'll knock out a quick break. I want to come back to this topic and get a different perspective. So our buddy Ross Dellenger of Yahoo is going to jump aboard. Ross, of course, been covering this from a national perspective. So what has the national reaction been to Brian Kelly's firing, the comments the governor made a day ago, and how this might subsequently impact LSU's search for a new coach and potentially a new athletic director? All right, we'll talk about that with Ross Dellenger as we continue on a Thursday edition of AFR, presented by Decision Critical Concierge Nursing in Baton Rouge.
After Further Review.
Love telling you about our friends over at Clegg's Nursery. Hey, remember, this Saturday is the Baton Rouge Green Tree Spree. It's this Saturday, one day only at the Clegg's on Seagan. So write it down. Remember, Baton Rouge Green is a great organization, an awesome civic organization that keeps our city looking beautiful. And so their arborists will be there. And so for every tree that's purchased, every Baton Rouge Green approved tree that's purchased on Saturday at Clegg's, Clegg's will make a donation to the Baton Rouge Green Foundation. So again, if you want to learn more, you can go to Clegg's Facebook or their website. But again, it's this Saturday, 9 a.m. to noon. 8 a.m. to noon. They can start early. This Saturday, 8 a.m. to noon. Only at the Clegg's on Seagan. It's the Baton Rouge Green Tree Spree, only at Clegg's Nursery, with 4 locations in the greater Baton Rouge area. Buy local, shop local. Tell them Matt sent you into Clegg's Nursery.
We typically think of stress as being bad for us. At Our Lady of the Lake and LSU, we are researching how certain types of stress, such as exercise, can be good for our immune health. By studying people under extreme stress, such as athletes, astronauts, service members, and first responders, we're learning how to improve the immune health of everyone. That's the power of research. That's the impact of champions. Together, we roar.
At Luba Workers' Comp, our journey began over 30 years ago with a simple belief: our clients come first.
At Luba, our business has always been focused on people, not policies.
Through every success and challenge, we've continued to grow because we've stayed true to our values, committed to providing you with genuine dependability.
Because your well-being is more than a priority. It's our purpose.
When it comes to industrial construction, River Parish contractors can do it all. Mechanical, structural, custom fabrication, specialized welding, and turnaround services. Strategically located in between Baton Rouge and New Orleans, we have the local team with the experience and commitment to safety to manage the most complex industrial projects. Period. Here's the deal. Partnering with us means your project is delivered on time, on budget, and most important, safely. River Parish Contractors, let's get building.
When it comes to choosing energy for your family and your home, make the smart choice with natural gas. You can count on efficient and affordable natural gas to keep you comfortable and reduce your environmental impact to help protect our planet. Together, we're fueling our energy future. Atmos Energy.
Hi, this is Beth Serena. Welcome to my pool. The first time I saw this beautiful pool, it exceeded every expectation that I had. They were able to get everything we wanted in this pool. It is a beautiful pool. We live out here, we eat out here, we watch TV out here. This is like our living room outside. We love this pool and everything about it. When we decided to build our pool, we called a great friend who is one of the best pool builders in the country in North Louisiana, and we said, who would you choose to build a pool in Baton Rouge? And without a hesitation, he told us Russell Pools. He said their history, tradition of great builds, great pools was unmatched. So of course, who did we call? Russell Pools. The advice I would give to anyone looking to build a pool is first call Russell Pools. They'll do an incredible job. It'll be incredibly organized. It'll be time efficient, and you will have your pool in no time.
These ice cubes could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they cradle and cool the crisp.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Decision Critical Concierge Nursing. Healthcare for your lifestyle. Learn more at decisioncriticalvr.com.
LSU Governor Jeff Landry, his comments on Wednesday have sort of taken over the college football world. It's leading almost everywhere. Our buddy Ross Dellenger, now with Yahoo, good enough to join us, give us a little bit of the national perspective. Delly, how are you, man?
Good, Matt. How you doing?
Busy, as you know and understand. But let's just start with the big picture, 10,000-foot view. What seems to be the national reaction to not only Brian Kelly's firing, but what happened here in the last 24 hours with the governor?
Yeah, I would say, from a national perspective, there's a lot of shell-shocked. There's a lot of disbelief, I think, from people. I literally, during the news conference on Wednesday, I literally got texts from people who were seeing the comments or watching the videos asking me if it was a fake. They thought it was a scripted, like some kind of SNL like type of skit. Yeah. And I told them that no, this was very real, and you should come spend a a few months or so in South Louisiana, and you'll realize that it's very real, and that's just how it is. So that was the first reaction nationally, and then there was the other reaction, Matt, which is from probably, I would say, the 3 to 5 biggest sports agents who represent coaches in the country, who weighed in with what you'd expect, with the reaction of, do they realize how negative this is impacting the candidate pool? Right now in college football is probably the most time where you need the most alignment between board, president, athletic director, football coach, general manager. You need alignment, you need resources, all of that. And I think that's sort of, especially the alignment piece, is in question now at LSU from probably a lot of candidates. And look, LSU is still a phenomenal job with incredible resources, and they've proven that, having 3 coaches each win a national title, 3 different coaches in a 17-season span. But if you're a coach, sort of like, let's throw out Lane Kiffin, and you have a really good job right now, and you're going to probably get a really big, good contract that's going to be guaranteed, and you have other schools courting you, who's going to give you where alignment is better, or is going to give you a long-term security of a contract. I think there's a debate to be made, an argument to be made that LSU is hurting itself, in those sort of decisions for coaches.
Ross, can you elaborate a little bit on, to whatever degree you can, what those conversations are like with agents, from the sense that, look, if LSU is still willing to pay, like, agents are going to have clients that are interested. But if you could maybe just elaborate a little bit there on the reaction from the agent world.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think that agents, again, want to see when they sort of put out there, present to a coach, because this is what usually happens, right? You have an agent, he's in between the coach and the school that's sort of courting the coach, and there's communication between both sides, and the agent has to be the one that presents all the information to the coach, and that's about not just contract stuff, but other decisions around alignment around the university. And I should say, as part of this conversation, is at the center sort of the conversation should be Trace Armstrong. He's the agent for Brian Kelly. He's also, Matt, the agent for probably a dozen or more sitting college FBS head coaches, along with several more coordinators and assistants and G5 head coaches. So Trace is dealing with a situation right now, apparently, with Brian Kelly's buyout, of where the school, whether it's because the governor or the board or whoever, is insistent, right, that they not pay the full fare, the full $53 million. So you can imagine the situation if Trace is recommending or not recommending jobs to his clients, how that may impact, how this situation may impact that, right? And then you've got the biggest agent, Jimmy Sexton, who has probably most of the coaches in the SEC, and most of the coaches, including Lane Kiffin, that LSU would probably have its eye on, right? And more than anybody that I've sort of been around and heard from, Jimmy is not a stupid guy, right? He's made a lot of money and has a lot of big clients for a reason, and that's putting his coaches in places where they can succeed through whatever resources and, again, alignment. And let me just tell you, all those guys I just mentioned, they were paying attention yesterday to the news conference.
Ross Dellenger's with us. Ross, to whatever degree you know, how is Scott Woodward perceived nationally?
I think a few different ways. Obviously, it's going to depend on the person, right? But I think there's probably two main thoughts when you poll people or talk to people around the country, whether you're talking to coaches, administrators, commissioners, agents, about Scott Woodward. One is the guy hires big name coaches who usually win, right? He's very successful hires. Chris Peterson at Washington was one of the more successful sort of hires in getting him there from Boise State in the last 15 years of college football. If you look at Chris Peterson's record, I think this year he's up for the Hall of Fame. You look at Jimbo Fisher, and look, I mean, I know Jimbo was fired at the end. At one point, he went 9-1 and was one game away from the SEC championship and potentially the national title. And then, obviously, what Scott did at LSU, he hired Jay Johnson, won a baseball championship. Kim Mulkey won a women's basketball championship. And Brian Kelly probably didn't work out as they wanted. But also, Brian Kelly won 34 games in 3.5 years. So it's not like It's not like LSU was sitting at 1-7. You know, when Brian Kelly was fired. So I think from a national perspective, he's thought of as going to get, you know, the big shot, the big name, who usually wins. There's another part, Matt, and I think that's the money part. I think Scott is known, especially among his colleagues, as somebody who pushes the envelope and pushes them and escalates salaries around the country because of the contracts that he executes. And now we're seeing, obviously, a local politician there, the top elected politician in the state of Louisiana, also have a problem with that.
So, which is a great segue, because I wanted to ask if you feel it's possible to negotiate a contract for the next LSU coach that is sort of as the governor recommended, right? Incentive laden, maybe backloaded, bonus oriented or structured. Is it possible, Ross, to offer that kind of a contract and attract a top candidate?
Well, that's a great question. I'll take off my unbiased reporter hat and put on my opinion hat. This is a great idea, right? Like this should be going forward. The idea that all athletic directors have is a shorter contract for coaches, 4 or 5 years, maybe even less, with a lower guaranteed salary, but with higher incentives. If you reach this and that, your salary will climb. This is not, completely unusual either, Matt. You know, we saw LSU do this deal with Ed Orgeron. When they hired him from interim to head coach, he had this incentive-laden deal. It was low. I can't remember what it was. It was like $3.5 million salary, $4 million salary, which was very low at the time in the SEC. But he could get up to like $7-8 million if he reached all these things. And that's what does need to happen going forward. Here's the problem. Not everybody's doing that. And so when your competition for a coach isn't doing that, you're going to have a problem getting quality candidates, because the market right now is the market. And but I think it's a great idea, and we've actually saw it, Matt. I'll say we saw it this past year, or 2 years ago, I should say. Mike Elko was hired at Texas A&M under a contract that is very heavy incentive laden. I think he makes around $7 million a year, but he can get up to $12-13 million a year if he hits all these incentives. So we have seen some of that. Now, here's the funny part. Mike Elko is probably getting a new contract this year because they're on a roll, right? And his contract will be $10+ million. It'll be fully guaranteed. It won't be incentive-based. And that's the problem, is that everybody's not going to follow suit with this contract structure that the governor is referring to.
And the interesting thing is, you say Elko's earned now the big contract, right? But you're ultimately going to tether yourself to a giant contract. So it feels a bit unavoidable. All right, last thing for you, and Ross Dellenger's our guest, Yahoo Sports. By the way, he's got an amazing piece up right now, a giant feature about what all transpired starting from the end of the A&M game Saturday all the way through what's been a topsy-turvy week. So go read it at Yahoo right now. I retweeted it a bit ago. It's very clear that the athletic director right now does not have the support of the governor. there's a bit of unrest, obviously, because they're about to hire a new university president. So how much does the instability with that AD spot impact this coaching search?
Probably not as much, Matt, as it used to. I think the coaches have gotten so big in college football. They're paid so much. They have, just big names, right? And they just they've kind of superseded their athletic director, right? They're the more important person. There's a lot of coaches that don't work for the athletic director, right? The athletic director works for the coach. So these days, it's not probably as quite important, but you can bet, and we've started to see this, by the way, and I believe it was in Brian Kelly's contract, that if an AD, if something happens with the AD, whether they're fired or whatever, a new hire's made, that gets worked into a coach's contract, and is sort of one of those clauses where a coach can get out of the contract easier. So look for that to be a point during this negotiation, whoever the new coach might be, look for that to be a point of contention. But I'll go back to the alignment. I think every coach, to a degree, especially this time and age where we're in this era of athlete compensation and rev share, where you need so many resources and finances, need as much as possible. You need alignment. You want alignment from the university president to the board to the AD. And although LSU's hiring the president just next week, I know they don't have a president right now.
Yeah.
The board, is the board, and right, it gets very political there. And obviously the governor's involved with the board, and the AD was just eviscerated publicly by the governor. So the alignment is not the best right now,
to say the least. At Ross Dellenger is where you can get him on Twitter, X. Go read his feature. It's fantastic. It's up right now. Great work as always. We appreciate the time. Thank you.
Thanks, Matt.
All right, be well. That's Ross Dellenger. It's After Further Review, presented by Decision Critical Concierge Nursing in Baton Rouge and all over the state. It's not just healthcare; it's healthcare for your lifestyle. DecisionCriticalBR.com. DecisionCriticalBR.com. We're here at the LSU Manship School of Mass Communication at the Journalism Building. Actually, Tiger Stadium is just behind me. If you're watching, if we could just open up that wall, you'd see Tiger Stadium. That'd be cool. I don't think we can open the wall though. There are windows though. I put the windows up, Alondra? No? Would it just with the light? Yeah, it was all right. Fair enough. Okay. All right, it's After Further Review. We do have Governor Jeff Landry joining us in 30 minutes from right now. Not got a break. We'll go around the SEC when we continue. Don't you move. It's AFR.
AFR.
We're brought to you by Goodwood MedSexual Wellness. Visit yourgoodwood.com, yourgoodwood.com. We talk all the time about things like hormone replacement therapy, which can be life-changing. As we age, literally every human, all of us, as we age, our bodies produce less of the hormones that contribute to how we feel. Waking energy, metabolism, the ability to build muscle, burn fat. And a lot of that libido, a lot of that contributes to how we feel every day of our lives. And you can safely, affordably supplement yourself to get to healthy levels to feel like your younger self again. It starts with a simple blood test. Go in, they'll draw your blood labs, they'll know instantly exactly where you're deficient, how to safely, affordably supplement you to get you to healthy levels, get you feeling your best again, because you don't know how bad you feel until you start feeling good again. Check them out online at yourgoodwood.com. That's yourgoodwood.com.
Raising Cane's is our victory meal. Football fans are some of the most dedicated fans in sports. It's a fundamental quality we share, and that fuels every single order of our hand-battered chicken fingers. Wherever there's football, there's Raising Cane's. One love. Let's go.
At Buyout Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Buyout Ford and Buyout Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Buyout Automotive is going to do right by you.
Today, we are shaping tomorrow.
We are researching how extreme stress impacts the immune system, from trauma victims to athletes and even astronauts.
Our work is leading the way in sepsis treatment, saving countless lives.
We're unlocking the mind with music in exciting new ways.
Our Lady of the Lake Health and LSU are improving the health of our state.
That's the impact of champions.
Imagine the impact we'll have on the future. Together, we roar.
These are the luckiest ice cubes in the world. They could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they've been called upon to cradle and cool a crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Looks like the lucky just got luckier. Dos Equis.
At Auctioner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Auctioner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one: you. Auctioner Andrews Institute. Long live you.
Need security services you can count on? With Veteran Security Services, you're always protected. Locally owned and proudly serving the Gulf Coast, they're not some big national firm chasing profits. They're neighbors protecting neighbors. From petrochemical plants and healthcare facilities to port and maritime operations, Veteran Security delivers reliable protection you can trust. Choose community. Choose confidence. Choose Veteran Security Services. Visit veteransecurityfirm.com.
After a decade of working in private duty nursing, I know how hard it can be to find compassionate care for the ones that you love the most. So I started Decision Critical, a premier concierge nursing agency, so we can take care of you wherever you are. Our highly skilled nurses provide exceptional care from the comfort of your own home with personalized packages for short-term, long-term, or even around.
After Further Review with Matt Moscona, presented by Decision Critical Concierge Nursing. Healthcare for your lifestyle. Learn more at decisioncriticalvr.com.
We are going to talk to Mike Triplett coming up in hour 3. I know so much of the focus has been on everything going on around LSU. Kellen Moore did meet with reporters on Wednesday after practice. We barely had any time to talk Saints a day ago, but as Kellen Moore said, Tyler Shuck will start this Sunday, his first start at the Rams, and more. This is to Muse, if we could, on why Tyler Shuck ultimately was the choice to start this week in LA.
Just felt like, there was an opportunity where Tyler, I felt like, was ready. Felt like, at the end of the day, one of the more important aspects of this from a wider lens perspective is offensively, we got to find a little bit more success, a little bit more consistency. I think that doesn't have only to do with Spencer. That has to do with everyone associated with the offense. And so we're continuing to build that and grow each and every week. And, I think Tyler's ready to go. He's prepared really, really well through this whole process. Patience sometimes is you got to play that game a little bit. And, he's ready to go.
I think Rattler likely would have continued to be the choice until the turnovers became a problem. 4 turnovers a couple of games ago, and then, of course, on Sunday, the ugly pick 6, the fumble when the Saints were driving. And some of those are great defensive plays, but those are the things when you're not a good football team that you got to be able to avoid. And, look, we'll talk more about Saints and Rams as we get closer to the game on Sunday. I hope everyone tempers expectations, because I don't think it's realistic to assume that inserting Tyler Shuck all of a sudden is going to dramatically reduce the results of this season. We were looking at the betting odds yesterday for win totals. So coming into this season, the Saints over-under was 4.5. Through the first handful of weeks of the season, it was lowered to 3.5. It's still at 3.5. So it's not like inserting Tyler Shuck in the lineup is expected. Anyone is expecting this to be a dramatic improvement on the season. I mean, they are what they are. I mean, you still have a backup center now in Luke Fortner. Your best offensive lineman, Eric McCoy, is out. You've had you've not had a lot of success with your receivers, notably Chris Olave, who's former first-round pick. And, I think Shaheed could certainly be a tradable asset as well, who come Tuesday could no longer be a part of this team. So if you've got already, you're missing your best offensive lineman, and now you're going to be void potentially of some of your top weapons, what is realistic to assume? I think what I'm looking for is protect the football, manage the game, maybe make some throws, prove that you can make the right, good decisions with the football. I know those things sound sort of nondescript, but I just think to expect Tyler Shuck to go in there and win games with this team is not realistic. I mean, you're one of the worst defenses in the NFL. I mean, you're 24th in scoring defense, and your scoring offense is 29th. There's only 3 teams that score less than you do per game. So, and now you got to go on the road to the Rams against that defense. I mean, good luck. So we'll see how he holds up and how it all plays out. But it'll be a first opportunity to get a look at Tyler Shuck. All right, it's After Further Review. Always love telling you about Evamore, EVAMOR, Evamore.com. Of course, a great local company. It's a Louisiana product. It's natural artesian water. It's bottled right there on the North Shore. The bottling plant is actually built right around the well. I mean, it's a natural artesian well. They pipe down into the ground, pull out the water. It's filtered just to get the sediment from the ground out. It goes right into the bottle. It never touches air until you uncap it, take that first delicious sip. It's Evamore. You want a better form of hydration, a healthier alternative for your family. EVAMOR, Evamore.com. You can find it at great local retailers or online at Evamore.com. EVAMOR, Evamore.com. All right, Musso, handing it off to you around the SEC. Hit it.
Around the SEC, bringing you the biggest news from the nation's best conference. The Auburn Tigers.
Hugh Freeze, when he met with the media after Thursday's practice, expressed a lot of optimism when talking about wide receiver Cam Coleman and wide receiver Malcolm Simmons and their status for this week's game against Kentucky. Coleman dealing with an ankle. Simmons has a knee. We'll start with Coleman. Freeze says the practice usage is not 100%, but he is trending towards playing on Saturday night against the Wildcats. Simmons' name popped up pretty surprisingly on Wednesday's availability report with that knee injury, but it was a hyperextension, and Hugh Freeze's quote is, he looked pretty decent today too. So both expected to play this Saturday against Kentucky.
The Georgia Bulldogs.
4 Georgia Bulldogs have been ruled out on their injury report for the game against Florida. They are Colby Young, Talon Taylor, Ethan Barber, and Kyron Jones. Jones and Taylor really the ones to look at. We'll start with Kyron Jones. He started 6 games this season, the first 6 games before being hurt prior to the Ole Miss game. He was expected to be on the mend, not back yet. Taylor, we talked about a couple days ago, appeared in the first 4 games of the season, suffered the upper body injury during practice and missed the Kentucky game. The good news for Georgia is center Malachi Tolliver and receiver Thomas Blackshear, who were ruled out for the Ole Miss game, are no longer listed on the availability report. They will play in the cocktail party on Saturday.
The Ole Miss Rebels.
Ole Miss starting cornerback Antonio Kite listed as questionable on the initial injury report. Injury not disclosed by Lane Kiffin. Kite has started all 8 of Ole Miss games this season, 21 tackles and 3 PBUs. He's in his first season in Oxford after transferring in from Auburn during the spring portal window.
The Tennessee Volunteers.
And a shakeup to Tennessee's 2026 recruiting class. Linebacker Braylon Outlaw, great name, has officially decommitted from Tennessee. This follows an official visit to Georgia Tech a weekend ago. 6 foot, 218 pounds. Outlaw had been committed to the Vols since November the 8th of last year, obviously. And I was one of 3 linebacker commits in the 2026 class. They now have 2 of those left and 23 left for the class of 2026 as a whole. That is around the SEC.
Glad to have you hanging out with us here. We are on LSU's campus at the journalism building here at the Manship School and excited to be hanging out. We do have the governor joining us in 18 minutes from right now. We're looking forward to that conversation. Every Thursday, we do our Fantasy Blitz. I regret to inform you, however, that my text line has been temporarily disabled. So if you want to get your questions in, you can do it. You're just going to have to email me or tweet me. Again, regrettably, not really pumped about it. But anyway, email me, matt@1045ESPN.com, M-A-T-T, matt@1045ESPN.com, or tweet me at Matt Moscona. And quite honestly, I would like to see something else in my Twitter feed other than people complaining about the governor's comments, because that's basically just polluted my Twitter feed for 24 hours. So, yeah, tweet me at Matt Moscona, your fantasy football questions. We'll get to them here when we come back with Darin Tietgen for our Fantasy Blitz. Stick around here on a Thursday edition of AFR, presented by Decision Critical, Concierge Nursing in Baton Rouge.
AFR.
AFR is brought to you by River City's 1 Hour Air, where they're always on time. Or you don't pay a dime. 752-0001, 752-0001, 752-0001, or 1hourbr.com. Spell it out, O-N-E, 1hourbr.com. Woke up today, feels like was 44 degrees. Crank on your heater yet? Don't lie to me. Did you crank on your heater yet? All right, if you did, and you have not yet had your heater safety check, what are you doing? Time is now. Call River City's 1 Hour Air. They'll send the technician out. They'll make sure your heater is clean, it's tuned up, it's running efficiently, and most importantly, that it's running safely for the coming cold weather months. Look, that heater is dormant for months. It can collect dust. It can be hazardous. Make sure it is safe to run. Protect your home. Protect your family. Let River City's 1 Hour Air come by for the pre-season heater safety check. Mention the show. They'll knock $30 off the price. 752-0001.
In South Louisiana, you can always count on good people coming together to help our children.
At Dreams Come True, we grant wishes for Louisiana children with life-threatening illnesses. But to do this, we need funds.
That's why we're trying to raise $100,000 for Dreams Come True by giving away the Blessed Children's School.
Make your backyard's dream come true while helping our kids.
Just go to dreampoolla.com and you can find out how your $25 donation might help win you a Duplessis pool.
Parish Construction and Roofing.
This is Coach Kim Mulkey. Go to parishbuilt.com for all of your roofing needs.
From your hometown, parishbuilt.com.
My father, J.B. Falgu, had a vision of growth for First American Bank and the communities we serve. The bank's foundation was built on his legacy of compassion, loyalty, and dedication. Through his years of leadership, First American has prospered to heights even J.B. could not have imagined. I know my father would be extremely proud of the customer service and financial stability that First American provides to Southeast Louisiana. We continue to thrive because of the legacy of J.B. Falgu.
These ice cubes could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they cradle and cool the crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Nicely done, ice cubes.
Baton Rouge's home for real rock. It's Eagle 98.1. Foo Fighters. Led Zeppelin. AC/DC. Pearl Jam. And the flagship home for LSU sports. Take us anywhere with the Eagle 98.1 app. Eagle 98.1 is the rock station.
Family owned and community driven.
Service Chevrolet Cadillac, a legacy you can trust since 1972. Service Chevrolet Cadillac, our family serving your family.
For over 50 years.
At Luba Workers' Comp, our journey began over 30 years ago with a simple belief. Our clients come first.
At Luba, our business has always been focused on people, not policies.
Through every success and challenge, we've continued to grow because we've stayed true to our values, committed to providing you with genuine dependability.
Because your well-being is more than a priority.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Decision Critical Concierge Nursing. Healthcare for your lifestyle. Learn more at decisioncriticalbr.com. After further review, this is the Fantasy Football Blitz.
Do you know who I am?
Powered by whotostart.net.
Who the hell are you?
Whotostart.net. The Fantasy Football Blitz.
Who the bitten?
This is the Fantasy Football Blitz. Powered by whotostart.net.
All right, wrapping up hour number one. We're glad you're hanging out with us here. It is a Thursday edition of AFR presented by Decision Critical Concierge Nursing in Baton Rouge and all over the state of Louisiana. Before you set your fantasy football roster, we always encourage you to check with our guys at whotostart.net. Our buddy Darin Tietgen, good enough to join us here. Yo, man, how are you?
I'm doing good. Ready for another week of football.
All right, man. As always, let's start with tonight. Baltimore, Miami. I guess Lamar's back. What are we looking at for tonight?
Yeah, that was going to be the first name off my lips. There would be Lamar as full participant in practice. He should be running all over those Dolphins. We're looking at the wide receivers. Zay Flowers and Jalen Waddle should have good games for their respective teams, as well as both running backs, Derrick Henry, of course, and Devon Achane for the Dolphins, especially in PPR formats. And then also something we're kind of tracking is possible changing of the guard at tight end for the Ravens. Looks like Isaiah Likely's been running some more routes than Mark Andrews. So look for Likely, now that he's healthy, to become an every week type of tight end.
All right, Darin, we always ask about sleepers as well. Who are you looking at this week?
Yeah, I got a couple for you. This is, kind of the time where running backs start to kind of hit the wall and some of them get injured. So one guy we're looking at is Kyle, and I'm probably mispronouncing his last name, but Mongai from the Bears.
Nailed it.
DeAndre has been a little banged up, and they face a terrible, terrible Bengals run defense. So even if it's a blowout or if it's a close game, we think that DeAndre Swift is going to cede some carries to Mongai. So that could be a decent flex play for you. And then at wide receiver, Chimere Dike for the Titans. The Titans' offense is pretty terrible, but somebody has to catch the ball, and Calvin Ridley's been hurt. So if you're in desperate need of a flex or a fourth or third wide receiver, Chimere Dike is a deeper sleeper for you there this week.
All right. You can always get your questions in. You can email us, tweet us. I normally say text us, but the text line is temporarily disabled. So email me or tweet me. Email me, matt@1045espn.com, or tweet at Matt Moscona. Good luck with the vowels. Moscona at Matt Moscona on Twitter. All right. We got some of our students here who've gotten questions on site. Here we go. Montgomery or Dobbins? Who to start?
I think Montgomery is a safer play. I think both Ryan running backs find the end zone this week, so I like Montgomery just a little bit more than Dobbins.
Debo or McLaurin? Who to start?
I think McLaurin's out this week, so you don't want to get to zero. So I think it goes the other way.
Way to go, Alondra. Terrible question. Olave or Brian Thomas Jr. Who to start?
That's a tough one. Obviously, with the changing quarterback, you want to see how Olave does with the new person throwing to him. So I would probably put Olave on the bench until we see what happens there.
That's probably a good idea. Let's see. Donovan on email said, Darin, need one of these three. He's got A.J. Brown with A.J. Brown on buys. Is Kendrick Bourne, Matthew Golden, or Jalen Noel?
Oh, boy. Let's go with the Noel. It's a dice roll, but if Nico Collins is out again, boy, that's a tough one. I think the Noel is the deep sleeper there.
Ben via email said who to start. He's got Matthew Stafford or C.J. Stroud.
I think Stafford's probably your play. Coming off a bye, had a chance to rest up a little bit and throw to Puka Nacua, who looks like he should be healthy, and Devontae Adams, of course, is a great secondary receiver for the Rams. I think Stafford's the play there.
Darin Tietgen, who2start.net, the numeral 2, who2start.net. Kareem Hunt or Rico Dowdle, who to start?
I think I'm playing Dowdle. It looks like Hunt comes in and kind of mops up the leftovers, if you will, but a little bit dangerous to play when you have Pacheco there as well. So Dowdle looks like the better running back for the Panthers, and Hubbard will get some carries, but I think Dowdle gets you enough and probably scores a touchdown this week.
Sneak in a few more here. T. Higgins or George Pickens, who to start?
I like the Dallas offense. I mean, Higgins might be having the third quarterback throw to him, Jake Browning, which would be terrible for his prospects. So I think you're going Pickens there, just a better offense and a better quarterback throwing on the ball.
And let's see, A.J. Barner or Noah Fant, who to start?
I think I'm going Fant there. I mean, those are some deeper tight ends. So if you can't find somebody with a better matchup, I think Fant is probably, the better dice roll.
He's Darin Tietgen, who2start.net. It's the numeral 2, who2start.net. Before you set your fantasy football roster, check with our guys at who2start.net. Remember, use the code ESPN. You get 10% off. All right, Darin, we always appreciate it, man. Enjoy your football weekend.
You do the same. Thanks, Matt.
I appreciate it much. We're always brought to you by Supper Club. SupperClubBTR.com is where you can go to get your reservations. Man, I'm going to tell you what an awesome way to start off the weekend early. I was texting with Chef Layton just yesterday. And I always tell you, man, people, Supper Club, of course, for the great ambiance, for their amazing steaks, the Japanese omi beef, the Sagrera cuts that they have. But Chef Layton texted me yesterday. He said they just got stone crabs back in. These are jumbo stone crabs. They're super fresh. They buy directly from the fishermen. So there's no middlemen. They get them directly from the fishermen. So, like, these are stone crabs that were in the water yesterday, and today they're on the menu at Supper Club, right there on Perkins Road, SupperClubBTR.com. We're getting close to Christmas, holiday parties. You want to have that gathering, make sure you reserve your space at Supper Club. SupperClubBTR.com, SupperClubBTR.com. All right, it is After Further Review. We're glad you're with us. Governor Jeff Landry is going to be with us in about 6 minutes from right now. I was hoping to have the governor in person. He will be on the phone as he's not in Baton Rouge today, but we'll look to have him in studio sometime soon. It's been obviously a massive talking point and conversation all across the sports landscape over the last 24 hours, the comments the governor made at his press conference. And I know there's things that I'd love to clarify and ask, and we'll get to that coming up here right after the top of the hour. And certainly when you look at some of the things that are notable are, for the governor to talk about, not doing a contract in the same light as the one for Brian Kelly. Okay. If you're not going to do the $100 million fully guaranteed deal, okay. Well, what does that contract structure look like? Will the governor have a role in hiring the coach? He said he's not going to pick the coach. Will he have a role? One of the things he said in that press conference a day ago was they'd put together a committee to select the coach. If it's not going to be Scott Woodward, okay, well, who are the members of that committee? I mean, some of those things I think are absolutely imperative to know throughout this very important decision, as LSU and the boosters that will contribute will spend north of $50 million to buy out Brian Kelly and ultimately hire a new coach. So the governor, Jeff Landry, will be this coming up right after SportsCenter on AFR.
AFR.
Brought to you by Rouse's, the official supermarket of the New Orleans Saints. Rouse's.com, Rouse's.com. Hey, by the way, today in, let's see, it's 3:55, 2 hours and 5 minutes, right when we get off the air, Harold Perkins Jr. is going to be at the Rouse's on Burbank from 6 to 7 p.m., signing autographs in conjunction with Dr. Pepper. So what an awesome opportunity as the Tigers were back on the practice field earlier today in their bye week. Of course, they'll have the weekend off, but great opportunity to get on by, meet number 7, get an autograph, maybe take your kids by. What a great opportunity for them to get to meet a larger-than-life personality, guy who'll be in the NFL next year, and it's all courtesy of our friends over at Rouse's. So, again, coming up here in just a few hours from 6 to 7 p.m. for 1 hour, Harold Perkins will be taking pictures and signing autographs on behalf of Dr. Pepper at the Rouse's at the corner of Burbank and Lee. And, of course, as the weekend is here, remember, you can go make your groceries, get all your beers, your bourbons, whatever you're looking for at Rouse's. Rouse's.com. Rouse's, this feels like home.
Trust isn't given, it's earned by showing up, leading the way, and performing at your best when it matters most. Our Lady of the Lake sports medicine experts know what it takes to improve performance and build champions at every level. That's why LSU chose Our Lady of the Lake as its championship health partner, trusting Louisiana's best medical team to care for our state's best athletes. From championship athletes to everyday champions, trusted care starts here.
I trust the lake.
While Louisiana politics can seem like they're from another planet, Moon Griffon isn't afraid to bring politicians back down to earth. Listen to the Moon Griffon Show weekday mornings at 9 on Talk 107.3.
When you can't rely on technology, you can rely on Mountain Cold Refreshment. Dave's back on. Coors Light. Choose chill.
Raising Cane's is our victory meal.
Football fans are some of the most dedicated fans in sports. It's a fundamental quality we share, and that fuels every single order of our hand-battered chicken fingers. Wherever there's football, there's Raising Cane's.
One love. Let's go.
Supreme Jasmine is premium American-grown rice. From local farms to your table, every grain is supreme. Pick up a bag of Jasmine or any other of our Supreme American rice.
It's not just a game, it's a religion. You've got your team color, team swag, and now your very own website, LouisianaSports.net. Everything LSU, Saints, and Pelicans. Sports on demand. In-depth coverage by sports writing pros with continuously updated news. And with the LouisianaSports.net newsletter, you get pinged directly with top trending stories. Best of all, now and always, no paywall. It's free. LouisianaSports.net, powered by 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. Your home for Louisiana sports.
In South Louisiana, you can always count on good people coming together to help our children.
At Dreams Come True, we grant wishes for Louisiana children with life-threatening illnesses. But to do this, we need funds.
That's why we're trying to raise $100,000 for Dreams Come True by giving away the Blessed Builders School.
Make your backyard's dream come true while helping our kids.
Just go to dreampoolla.com and you can find out how your $25 donation might help win you a Duplessis pool.
Every winner knows a great play starts with a solid game plan and the right team by your side. At Sunshine, we're here to keep your operation running strong. From tractors to harvesters, we've got the John Deere equipment you need to tackle every job with confidence. Because when the work's done right, there's more time for the things that matter, like cheering on your favorite team. Make Sunshine Quality Solutions part of your playbook this season and learn more about what it means to be powered by Sunshine at sunequip.com.
Men, age is just a number. Don't let it dictate how you feel. Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. As NFL Week 9 kicks off tonight, Ravens welcome back quarterback Lamar Jackson after he missed the last 3 games with a hamstring injury. His return a must for Baltimore, hoping to become just the 5th team since the merger to make the playoffs after starting a season 1-5. Unsportsmanlike co-host Chris Canty.
It's not off the table that we could get a better version of a Ravens defense, a better version of the Ravens run game at this stage, now that we're getting close to November. I just got to see it before I believe it. And that's why, looking at this game against the Miami Dolphins, it's going to tell me a lot more about the Baltimore Ravens one way or the other than it is anything about what Miami got going on.
The Ravens are 2 out of the AFC North lead and 2 out of the final AFC wildcard spot. Their next 5 opponents, a combined 11-28. Cardinals preparing for quarterback Kyler Murray to return from a foot injury Monday night against Dallas. Nebraska signed football coach Matt Rule to a 2-year extension through the 2032 season. His buyout this year increased to $15 million. NHL Avs signed center Marty Necas to an 8-year, $92 million extension.
Hey, it's your resident Super Bowl champ, Chris Canty, coming up Friday. I know the Steelers are at 4-3, but I'll tell you why they're facing a can't-lose game against the Colts on Sunday. It's on Sportsmanlike, 6 a.m. Eastern, right here on ESPN Radio, ESPN2, and ESPNU.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from the Raising Cane studio.
Let's ride!
Hour 2, off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. It's AFR. We are presented by Decision Critical Concierge Nursing, and we're thrilled to have you with us. Not from the Raising Cane studio. We are actually on LSU's campus at the Journalism Building here at the Manship School of Mass Communication at the Sports Summit earlier today. Thrilled to have been invited to be a part of that and hang out here for AFR today, a place where I walk these halls for many days. We're very pleased to have the Governor, Jeff Landry, join us here for a few minutes in light of, I guess it's fair to say, a little bit of a firestorm that was created yesterday. Governor, it's a pleasure. Thank you for the time. How are you?
Thank you, Matt. Sure wish I could be sitting right next to you as we do this interview, and really do appreciate you giving me some time. I've done a number of interviews today. There seems to be a lot of misinformation and disinformation out there, and so wanted an opportunity to kind of correct the record.
Well, let's talk. I know the thing that you want to start with discussing is who actually is responsible for paying the $53 million buyout contractually. So I'll give you the floor and then I'll follow up.
Yeah. And so, and let's start off with the rumor about this meeting at the governor's mansion and that I was involved in whether somebody was being fired or not fired. There was a meeting. That meeting was simply to go over the legalese of the contract. I needed to understand who ultimately was going to pay for the $53 million if that's what is ended up being paid. Like, who's responsible for it? And so after 3 hours and pouring through the contract and looking at everything, it is very simple. Ultimately, the state of Louisiana and the Louisiana taxpayers would be ultimately responsible for paying that amount. Now, look, if somebody decided, hey, you know what, I'm going to relieve the state of Louisiana of that obligation, and they want to stroke a $53 million contract, a $53 million check, then that would take the state of Louisiana off of the hook. But make no mistake about it, the contract, anybody that says otherwise needs to read the contract. In fact, we just posted that out. The Louisiana State University is a subdivision of the state. And ultimately, the taxpayers are responsible under that contract.
Is there any precedent for state tax dollars paying a buyout for a coach?
Well, I don't know. You mean in the country or in the state of Louisiana?
I couldn't find one in the country today, but I was just using Google and AI. But if you know of any, I'd be curious.
No, I don't know, Matt. But here's the most important thing. I have to live in Realville. I have to know who ultimately has to pay the bill if no one does step up. No one came to the mansion and said, hey, I got a $53 million check. Don't worry, Governor, we got this. Let's make that very clear. But what has happened in the past, and certainly we haven't had a price tag this big, but in the past, it had been TAP or somebody else that had come up there and said, hey, we want to make a change in coaching, and we're willing to help offset whatever these costs are. Nobody stepped up.
So let's point out this report that's out there. Have any donations been committed, to your knowledge, to contribute to Brian Kelly's buyout?
To my knowledge, okay, no one has. No one has come and reported that to me. And so there's a lot of rumors going around. There's a lot of accusations and misinformation that's spreading around. Like I'm in control. I'm not picking the next coach. I said that yesterday in the press conference. I really don't want to be involved in this as long as the state of Louisiana, our taxpayers, are not involved. And Matt, here's the thing that we're missing. This whole thing started when I tweeted about the ticket prices. Because, we keep talking about this money. We're throwing millions and tens of millions of dollars and $50 million around like it's quarters and nickels. But when you fill Tiger Stadium with working people, with truck drivers, with plant workers, with welders, with plumbers, with HVAC people, with teachers, and those people pay a lot of money to see entertainment. And making those decisions as to whether we're going to raise their prices, take money out of their pocket when we got contracts that go out there, are, in my opinion, completely irresponsible.
Governor Jeff Landry is with us. You said you will not pick the next coach. In your press conference, you did say that there would be a committee to choose the next coach. Who would be on that committee?
That's a question that you'd have to ask the Board of Supervisors. In fact, in the press conference, if you listen to it in its entirety, that's exactly what I said. I said, listen, LSU is governed by a Board of Supervisors. There's an athletic committee, I think, if I'm not mistaken. Like, I've got a lot of things to do. We've got a number of boards that govern universities around. I deal with all of them on a pretty regular basis, unfortunately. But I don't micromanage the thing. There's an athletic committee. They'll pick a search committee and they'll move forward.
Would you serve on that committee?
Absolutely not. I mean, listen, if I said I was not picking the next coach, that means I don't want to be a part of the process.
Governor Jeff Landry is our guest. You said also definitively that Scott Woodward would not pick the next coach. Do you or does the governor have the governor, I guess the way to ask it, does the governor have the authority to fire the athletic director at LSU?
I don't know. No, the governor does not have the authority to fire him. But I sure can call the Board of Supervisors and say, listen, I'm going to tell you, I do not think it's a good idea for us to have Scott Woodward negotiating the next contract with the coach. When you look at the way this agent system is working, under which you've got to in which the athletic director has the same agent as the coach. I mean, that is automatically a conflict of interest.
I want to get into the contract structure because it's something you said that you and I agree on, and I would love to elaborate in a second. But if I could follow up, if Scott Woodward is not making the hire, will Scott Woodward continue to serve as LSU's athletic director with 3.5 years remaining on his contract?
Again, that's questions for the Board of Supervisors. We hopefully will have a new president of that LSU on Tuesday that they're going to select. I think they whittled it down to 3. Those are all questions that that should be answered by LSU, not by me. Again, once the taxpayers are off the bill, I'm out.
Would you be in favor? So Scott Woodward has 3.5 years remaining on his deal, and the buyout for Scott Woodward would be north of $6 million. Would you be in favor of removing Scott Woodward if it came down to paying a $6 million buyout?
Look, what I'm going to tell you, Matt, is I'm not interested in having Scott Woodward negotiate and pick the next coach. Look, again, I want to look real carefully at how this agent process works. I think I think y'all are missing the bigger point, not only at LSU, but in college football as a whole. Like if me and you are negotiating that or something, maybe, a sponsorship for your radio or whatever it is, or a job or whatnot, you go get a lawyer on your side. That lawyer can't represent you and me. That's called a conflict of interest. And so what we have seen, and let me correct something that you said yesterday, because I didn't say that either. I did not say that Sexton was Woodward's agent, but my understanding is that they both had the same agent.
We're talking about Brian Kelly's agent being Trace Armstrong and Jimbo Fisher, which is the A&M contract that you referenced.
And Armstrong was Woodward's agent as well, is my understanding.
No, forgive me. Just to clarify, I was referring to Jimbo Fisher's agent being Jimmy Sexton and Brian Kelly's agent being Trace Armstrong. Those agents being different of those two men. I want to talk, and Governor Landry's with us for a few more minutes, and I'm very appreciative of the time. I mentioned there's something that you and I definitely agree on that I would love to know what your if you could elaborate, is structuring future contracts to be maybe more incentive laden. How would, and I understand, and you've made it very clear, you're not making the hire, you don't want to be on the committee, but certainly you could have an opinion here on how a contract for the next head coach should be structured.
Well, that's a great question. I really appreciate that one, because you're right. If there is a contract that's going to be entered with the new head coach of LSU's football program, and that contract requires the state of Louisiana to be a guarantor of it, you're absolutely right. I'm going to be looking at that contract, and I'm going to be opining on it. And I believe that the contracts moving forward should have metrics in them. It's not about the amount of money. It's about how is the program progressing? What are we winning? Are we winning SEC championships? Are we winning national championships? Are we getting to the bowl championship series? Those are things that say that the team is winning. I mean, look, we would not be having this discussion at all had LSU not been in the season that it is. I mean, I don't know. The chance of it getting to the bowl championship series at this point is pretty low. It'd be great if they did. But think about it. If we would not have lost a game, or maybe lost one game right now in the SEC, we wouldn't be talking about that, because because Kelly wouldn't be having a problem.
Just to be clear, if it cost, say, $100 million to lure a premier coach away from their current school, would you be in favor of LSU, as you mentioned, it would be the Board of Supervisors, right, as the guarantor, doing a deal like that, or would it, I'm sorry, yeah, go ahead.
Well, no, back up. The Board of Supervisors on its own cannot say, we want to pay somebody $100 million without putting the taxpayers liable. That's what people are missing.
Okay.
The Board of Supervisors is a subdivision of the state. If the Board of Supervisors in LSU goes bankrupt, we foot the bill. When they want to build a building, You know the amount of money that the state of Louisiana provides to those public universities and buildings and supplements, and I mean they're constantly in front of us. And that's the other thing that seems to irritate me a little bit is I said, well, the governor's involved, it's a political process. They should come over to the legislature and see how many times LSU and the rest of these universities come over there with their hat in hand.
What about LSU athletics, however? Because as I understand it, LSU athletics is completely self-generated.
Really? So they built that stadium completely with no tax dollars?
Well, please.
They didn't come to the bond commission to be able to bond the projects. I mean, no, Matt. I mean, that's where everybody keeps missing the point. But look, if somebody came to me and said, hey, we need this coach, we're going to pay $100 million, and Matt Moscona is going to put the $100 million up or guarantee the $100 million, that's okay, fine.
Did taxpayer dollars fund stadium expansion?
That's a great question. That's a great question. But I can tell you one thing. Unless they had the cash, they had to bond it. If they went to bond it, they probably went to the bond commission. There is, you know who's on the bond commission? The governor, the Senate president, the speaker, the chairman of revenue, the House chairman of revenue, the House chairman of fiscal affairs, like the lieutenant governor, the secretary of state, the attorney general. Like those are all political people.
Governor Jeff Landry is our guest. And I want to be very respectful of your time. You've been very generous with your time here. Do you worry that being vocal as you are could negatively affect LSU's ability to hire its next coach?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. In fact, I think it's more responsible. Because, again, we all have recognized, and you just discussed it, how we thought the contract that we got into was irresponsible. And the question becomes is, like, do we need $100 million to lure a coach? I don't know. They paid the guy at Vanderbilt who's whipping us $100 million? Like, I mean, there's great coaches out there. And, in fact, we're also looking at a model that I believe, this is just me as a football fan, not as the governor, has changed. We used to pay the coaches. Now we pay the coaches and the players.
By the way, would you want to hire Clark Lee from Vanderbilt? He's a pretty good coach. He's a pretty good coach.
I told you I'm not.
He's a pretty good coach.
Good, man.
All right, man. I can throw a line in the water.
Yeah, no, listen, I know, but here's the deal. I promised, and I said that I was not picking the next coach, but I'm just looking at sports and the collegiate portfolio that's out there. And you look at the teams that are excelling right now. You're seeing Cinderella teams. You're seeing teams that wasn't there before. A lot of that has changed because of the NIL. I think there's a lot of guardrails that the NCAA needs to put in so that we continue to enjoy college football the way we always enjoyed it. And, again, my biggest concern are the fans, because those fans in there are all taxpayers. And a lot of those fans over there didn't go to LSU. They just enjoy LSU football, and I want to see a great winning team.
What would you do about agents?
You know, it's a great question. I just think that, well, first of all, I would cap the amount of commissions that they can make like they do at the NFL and the MLB. I mean, think about it. I've heard that some of these agents are making as high as 20%.
Yes.
These are on young people. I mean, it's on students. Think about that. Now, you talk about the inflated price that we're paying for players right now. Well, so you pay a guy $1 million. Would you just soon add 1.2 million? I mean, they're inflating the price of what we have to pay for these players.
Governor Jeff Landry is our guest. Is there anything else that we haven't discussed that we need to?
I don't think so, Matt. The only thing I would ask is that if people out there, again, if anybody out there can find any facts of the things that I've said that are not true, I'm happy to look at that. But everything I've done with thorough research, and the only concern I have is to the taxpayers of the state and the fans in Tiger Stadium and the boys. And that's the other thing, too. The thing that's also been missing is there's a group of boys down there that have to put that uniform on, not next weekend, but the next, and play a very, very tough team. And I would love to see everybody rally around them.
I think everybody would love to see the Tigers go win in Tuscaloosa. That would be very refreshing. I would also love to know if there is any precedent for state tax dollars paying a buyout. I'll continue to do more research on that and see what I can come up with. Yes, sir.
But Matt, I think it's important. Whether that has never happened doesn't mean it can't happen. And the only way it can't happen is if the state is not the guarantor.
Well, I'll be fascinated to see if a future contract structure like that can be reached. Because I don't even know that's possible if you're talking about a public university, is it?
Well, you're right. And again, let's go back to the question you asked about my involvement in the contract. I'm happy. I don't have a problem with the state being a guarantor as long as it's reasonable. Because guess what? If a coach has metrics inside the contract and they are performance-based, then that means I know that the athletic director can go around from those donors with the wherewithal to be able to pay the bonuses out there. I think if the state of Louisiana knows going in, hey, look, this is the minimum amount, but guess what? Every time we make one of these metrics, that the coach gets bonused up, and maybe that bonus adds up over time to be $100 million. That's fine, because that increases ticket sales and vendor sales. That means you bring in more tax base into Baton Rouge. Again, all of those things generate the economy. That's responsible contracting.
You've been very, very generous with your time. Would love to have you back if there's ever reason to visit again. We appreciate it.
Okay, thank you, Matt.
Yes, sir. That is Governor Jeff Landry joining us here for a few minutes. We're brought to you by First South Farm Credit, firstsouthland.com, firstsouthland.com. If you're thinking of buying land, your first call should be to First South Farm Credit. Of course, no matter where you are in the state of Louisiana or any of the lower 48, our friends over at First South Farm Credit for more than 100 years, they've done one thing. They've done it better than anyone. They help Louisianians buy land. If it's recreational property, if it's 20 acres, 100 acres to build your family's dream home, if it's 1,000 acres for agriculture, our friends at First South Farm Credit can help. FirstSouthland.com, FirstSouthland.com. I could talk to him for an hour. So much more I wanted to get into, but he gave us way more time than he was initially allotted to. So I am very grateful for the governor for giving us his time. I still think there's that one giant sticking point where there is just no precedent at all for the taxpayers footing the bill. He's right in a legal sense that, yes, with the Board of Supervisors, the state of Louisiana as the guarantor, if it were to go to court and LSU were to lose a buyout case, then yes, he's legally right. He's a very smart man. He was the Attorney General of the state. He's an attorney. He's a very smart man. But you can't ignore precedent. Especially as a lawyer, you know you can't ignore precedent. So it'll be fascinating to watch how all this unfolds. And my suspicion is LSU will raise the money and they'll buy out Brian Kelly. But we'll see how it all plays out. All right, it's after further review. We're glad you're with us. Let me knock out a quick break. If you want to react, you can. We'll continue. Stick around.
AFR.
Get Gordon and get it done. Gordon McKernan Injury Attorneys. If you've been injured in an accident, it's not your fault. Do what injured people in our state have done for 3 decades. Go to getgordon.com, getgordon.com, get Gordon and get it done. You know, I love telling you about Gordon McKernan, not just because of how he helps people who have been injured recover the damages they're entitled to, but on top of that, the many, many, many ways that Gordon gives back to the state of Louisiana and the communities that he and his team serve. Every year around the holidays, they have the bicycle giveaway, which is coming up. We're very much looking forward to telling you about that and seeing those great photos that always pop up around the holidays every single year. Of course, you know, around graduation time, it's the laptop giveaway. He furnished the garage, his podcast studio that anybody in the public, you want to go do a podcast, you can use his facility. Just amazing philanthropic work in helping people in our community. It's Gordon McKernan Injury Attorneys. Go to getgordon.com, getgordon.com. Get Gordon and get it done.
These are the luckiest ice cubes in the world. They could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they've been called upon to cradle and cool a crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Looks like the lucky just got luckier. Dos Equis.
Parish Construction and Roofing.
This is Coach Kim Mulkey. Go to parishbuilt.com for all of your roofing needs.
From your hometown, parishbuilt.com.
Need security services you can count on? With Veteran Security Services, you're always protected. Locally owned and proudly serving the Gulf Coast, they're not some big national firm chasing profits. They're neighbors protecting neighbors. From petrochemical plants and healthcare facilities to port and maritime operations, Veteran Security delivers reliable protection you can trust. Choose community. Choose confidence. Choose Veteran Security Services. Visit veteransecurityfirm.com.
We typically think of stress as being bad for us. At Our Lady of the Lake and LSU, we are researching how certain types of stress, such as exercise, can be good for our immune health. By studying people under extreme stress, such as athletes, astronauts, service members, and first responders, we're learning how to improve the immune health of everyone. That's the power of research. That's the impact of champions. Together, we roar.
Hi, this is Beth Serena. Welcome to my pool. The first time I saw this beautiful pool, it exceeded every expectation that I had. They were able to get everything we wanted in this pool. It is a beautiful pool. We live out here, we eat out here, we watch TV out here. This is like our living room outside. We love this pool and everything about it. When we decided to build our pool, we called a great friend who is one of the best pool builders in the country in North Louisiana, and we said, who would you choose to build a pool in Baton Rouge? And without a hesitation, he told us Russell Pools. He said their history, tradition of great builds, great pools was unmatched. So of course, who did we call? Russell Pools. The advice I would give to anyone looking to build a pool is first call Russell Pools. They'll do an incredible job. It'll be incredibly organized. It'll be time efficient. And you will have your pool in no time.
Flight by Yingling is raising the bar by crafting the next generation of light beer. With only 2.6 carbs and 95 calories, this is premium refreshment 6th generation.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Decision Critical Concierge Nursing. Healthcare for your lifestyle. Learn more at decisioncriticalvr.com.
I'm glad you're rolling along with us here on this Thursday edition of AFR. I'm going to be a little quick here so I can try to get back on time. We went a little long with Governor Landry, but sincerely appreciate him for taking the time to join us on the show to explain his point of view and where he's coming from. What I will tell you is part of me, just very candidly, wrestled a little bit with well, I didn't really wrestle with it, but I did give consideration to whether or not we should have the conversation for a couple of primary reasons. Listen, I'm sitting here doing the show today on LSU's campus in the journalism building. Like, I love this school. I say it all the time. I don't just love LSU football. You don't have to, listen, I'm not one of those people like, you didn't go to school there, you can't be a fan. Of course you can. LSU is part of the fabric of our state. I don't care if you didn't go to LSU, that's fine. Like, I want everybody to love and support LSU and everything they do. It's such an important part of our state. But I love LSU, and I don't just mean LSU football or baseball or basketball or whatever. Like, I love LSU. I want LSU to be awesome in everything, from research and, space projects or whatever. Like, if there's a Tiddlywinks club, I want them to crush it. All right. And yes, I want LSU athletics to be great because it's a lot of fun. It's great for the city, the state. It's great for me professionally, all that sort of stuff. So, like, I want LSU to be great, and I do worry from that standpoint that I do worry that the governor's comments are having a negative effect. We had Ross Dellenger here with us in hour one from Yahoo, who effectively said, like, he's hearing a lot of that. Listen, I mean, there's been a lot of reaction. Can you play, Muse, can you play Gene Chizik? This is Gene Chizik, earlier today on the SEC Network, former Auburn head football coach. So this is a former head football coach in the SEC and at North Carolina and at Iowa State. He's been around talking about the governor's comments.
There's a lot of things that happen in these hiring process, Alyssa, that, everybody talks about, he talked about maybe putting a committee together, right? Well, I always kind of have a chuckle on that because who's on the committee? Like, what expert on the committee that you're putting together is the expert on hiring a football coach? Right. If your committee's made of board members, and I'm sure there'll be a mixture, but this is not a perfect science. So there'll be a lot of interest. That could run some people scared to a degree by listening to that. But if they had two equal schools that they're choosing from, it could balance it out. They want to go to the other one. But most guys would crawl I repeat, crawl to be the head coach at LSU.
Yeah.
So it's a great place, and they'll do a good job hiring somebody.
And that's the hope. But to the first point he said, if you're looking at LSU and Florida and Penn State, and then potentially other openings as well that could come. Like there's rumors about Steve Sarkisian in the NFL. What if Texas comes open, right? You've been down that road when LSU and Texas were both open in 2016, and the guy you wanted, Tom Herman, ended up picking Texas instead. So there's going to be competition, and I think it's right to wonder, like, is this causing conversation around something that's unnecessary? But the flip side of it is, as I was starting this to tell you, when I was deciding to have the convo, I mean, my obligation, I always say, is to my audience. My obligation is to you, the listener, the viewer. And if I have a chance to put the governor of the state on this show to have a frank conversation about what is the biggest topic in college football right now, and really the sports world, of course I'm going to do it. And I'll spend 20 minutes talking to our governor and allowing him to clarify his point of view. I don't know that I don't know that we made up a lot of ground on the contracts and things of that nature and the buyout and all that. But it was definitely an interesting conversation. And again, I want to say, like, he and I agree. He has good ideas. I agree completely with him on how to structure a contract. I also believe that in so doing, in not guaranteeing money, you're not going to get the bet. You're not going to get Lane Kiffin. You're not going to get Dan Lanning. Okay, you can do what A&M did and get Mike Elko from Duke. Are people going to be doing backflips if you get Dan Mullen from UNLV or maybe Kenny Dillingham from Arizona State? I'm still not names. I don't know. But, like, are you going to be, like, is John Sumrall from Tulane going to move the needle the way getting Brian Kelly, the winningest active coach in college football, did? Probably not. But Brian Kelly didn't work. And it's one of the reasons why in this era, I do agree with him, where I'll tell you the last hiring cycle, I wanted the big name. In 2016, I wanted the big name because you're LSU, you want to reduce risk. Because you don't have to take a chance. You have to take a shot on somebody. You just heard Gene Chizik say people crawl to get to Baton Rouge because of all you have to offer, especially if you're paying. But I think it's just proven. Like, you look at Clark Lee, look at Eli Drinkwitz, look at Rhett Lashley, look at coaches. Dan Lanning's a first-time head coach, so he's got great resources at Oregon. If you have the commitment and the buy-in and you get the right guy, you can win in this culture. And sometimes the guys who have done it for a long time in the way things used to be done are struggling in this culture of college football to win. So, like, the governor and I agree very much on that point, on how to structure a contract moving forward. I agree with him wholeheartedly on the agent piece. I disagree with him on Scott Woodward. I do. And he knows that. He and I spoke privately this morning. And that's okay. We can have that disagreement. And he wouldn't give a direct answer about Scott Woodward's future. He deflected that to the Board of Supervisors and the new university president they'll be hired. But it's very clear that the governor is having influence, as he should, by the way, because every governor does. It doesn't matter if it's Jeff Landry or John Bell Edwards or Bobby Jindal or Kathleen Blanco or Mike Foster. I mean, go through the years. Like, every governor is going to choose board members and will have influence over the selection of the university president, and the LSU system is a massive system with 2 hospitals as well, and teaching hospitals, and it's a giant thing in our state. It's a giant entity, and the governor will have say in that stuff. Every governor will and should. As it trickles down to the football coach, and that's why he was very clear to deflect. Say, I'm not picking the coach. Okay. But a lot of the influence and the things that are shaping up that will influence who picks the coach and what coach they're able to pick are going to be influenced. So I think Scott Woodward is an amazing athletic director, and I would love to see him continue to be LSU's athletic director. But if he doesn't have the autonomy to hire coaches, then that is it's a toothless bite. You You've taken away the autonomy he has to do his job, so I don't know how he can continue doing his job. So you're at very much of an impasse where you're not going to fire Scott Woodward. Or let me rephrase that. Scott Woodward is not going to resign. He's not. He's got 3.5 years and about $6.5 million left on his contract. He ain't walking away from that. He'd be stupid to. So you're going to fire him? Okay. You're going to fire him and pay him $6.5 million while we're sitting here having the buyout convo? That's the impasse they're at. So, in any event. All right, it's after further review. Let's get back on track. I'm going to grab a quick break. Our Thursday shows are presented by Decision Critical Concierge Nursing in Baton Rouge. We're glad to have you. Always love telling you about the Williamson Eye Center. Dr. Blake Williamson, awesome. You want to ditch the contacts and glasses forever? Do what I did. I had LASIK 7 years ago. I still see better than 20/20. Awesome. The Williamson Eye Center, Dr. Blake Williamson, great dude, an amazing, I shouldn't call him, well, he's a great dude. Went to England and watched the Oasis reunion tour because loves music too. He's a real human being and he's awesome. And you'll talk to him and you'll get to know him and you'll also understand that he's a brilliant ophthalmologist. And if it's LASIK or EVO ICL or the custom lens replacement, PRK, he does it all better than anyone. It's the Williamson Eye Center. 924-2020, 924-2020, or williamsoneye.com. All right, it's after further review. We're glad you're with us. One of the things I am working right now to try to get a hold of is information, is something that the governor and I were discussing, that he didn't have the answer, and I do not have the answer offhand, but I'm trying to get it, is if taxpayer dollars have ever funded a facilities project at LSU. I do not believe that has happened, but I'm trying to get that answer, and when we have it, I'll have it before we're off air, and I'll share it with you. Okay, it's after further review. We'll knock out a quick break. We'll do what to watch for this weekend in football, and then we'll talk to Lee Sterling in about 12 minutes from right now, get his best bets of the weekend. Stay here at AFR.
After further review.
We're brought to you by Rev, R-E-V. Let's Rev. 90 years right here in South Louisiana. 90 years providing incredible service, homes and businesses. If you need lightning fast internet speed, and who doesn't? Like, I stream video all the time. You don't think I need lightning fast internet? Also, as many podcasts and everything as I do for my home, what happens if the internet goes out? It's not an option. So that's why my wife and I switched to Rev. All fiber network. Obviously, it's buried under the ground, so winds, rain, storms come, knocks down power lines, things like that. You don't have to worry about it. Fiber network is buried under the ground, so you never have to worry about losing connectivity. Lightning fast speed, 90 years of local service. It's Rev. Let'sRev.com, R-E-V. Let'sRev.com.
When it comes to choosing energy for your family and your home, make the smart choice with natural gas. You can count on efficient and affordable natural gas to keep you comfortable and reduce your environmental impact to help protect our planet. Together, we're fueling our energy future. Atmos Energy.
Mornings with Brian Haldane is the only live and local talk show in the capital city. Get the news from the newsmakers, along with traffic and weather updates throughout the morning. The conversation starts weekday mornings at 6 on Talk 107.3.
At Luba Workers' Comp, our journey began over 30 years ago with a simple belief: our clients come first.
At Luba, our business has always been focused on people, not policies.
Through every success and challenge, we've continued to grow because we've stayed true to our values, committed to providing you with genuine dependability.
Because your well-being is more than a priority. It's our purpose.
After a decade of working in private duty nursing, I know how hard it can be to find compassionate care for the ones that you love the most. So I started Decision Critical, a premier concierge nursing agency, so we can take care of you wherever you are. Our highly skilled nurses provide exceptional care from the comfort of your own home, with personalized packages for short-term, long-term, or even around-the-clock care. Visit us at decisioncriticalbr.com and give us a call today to get started.
Today, we are shaping tomorrow.
We are researching how extreme stress impacts the immune system. from trauma victims to athletes and even astronauts.
Our work is leading the way in sepsis treatment, saving countless lives.
We're unlocking the mind with music in exciting new ways.
Our Lady of the Lake Health and LSU are improving the health of our state.
That's the impact of champions.
Imagine the impact we'll have on the future. Together, we roar.
These are the luckiest ice cubes in the world. They could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they've been called upon to cradle and cool a crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Looks like the lucky just got luckier. Dos Equis.
Parish Construction and Roofing.
This is Coach Kim Mulkey. Go to parishbuilt.com for all.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Decision Critical Concierge Nursing. Healthcare for your lifestyle. Learn more at decisioncriticalbr.com.
All right, rolling along here, Thursday edition of AFR. We always appreciate Blasia, Rivette, and the great staff over at Decision Critical. By the way, if you're a physician and you're not familiar with Decision Critical, you need to be. They can even be at like post-op appointments. Their nurses can be to help carry out your doctor's orders in the home to keep your patient out of the hospital. It's Decision Critical. They always say it's not just healthcare, it's healthcare for your lifestyle, from newborn to end-of-life care, anything in between. Maybe you got an unfortunate diagnosis, you need in-home care. Our friends at Decision Critical are fantastic. Just I told you a few weeks back, Drew needed blood labs drawn. He's a difficult stick, and he's a special needs kiddo, and there's a lot of complications. So the nurses from Decision Critical came to our home at 9 o'clock on a Monday night to do his blood draws. They're amazing. DecisionCriticalBR.com, DecisionCriticalBR.com. All right, it is After Further Review. Lee Sterling with his best bets are coming up here in just a smidge. We do it every Thursday. We do What to Watch here on the football weekend. Hit it, Muse.
Here's what we're watching this football weekend.
Mute.
All right, we're going to move quickly here. Start with Thursday Night Football. Lamar Jackson's back for the Ravens. They're at the Dolphins. Big favorite in the game are the Ravens. This is huge. This could be their start to their climb back here in the AFC North after a 2-5 start.
I'm watching Vandy, Texas. Vandy currently 7-1, ranked number 9 in the country. Texas coming off the overtime thrill against Mississippi State. Arch Manning still questionable as he returns from concussion protocol.
All right, I'll cheat. Tyler Shuck's first career start. Of course we're going to be watching that, but that's where I'll go. Let's keep an eye on how Tyler Shuck does in his first career start.
All right, Miami and SMU. This is a spot for the Hurricanes here to keep an eye on. They're a big favorite. SMU coming off an embarrassing loss, but Miami, the score looked great last week. They didn't score until almost the end of the first half against Stanford. Definitely sleptwalked off of their loss. This is an 11 a.m. kick. Keep an eye on it.
Broncos, Texans, Sean Payton having success in Denver, making all the Saints fans wondering what if. Broncos are 6-2. Houston coming off one of its bigger Houston is one of the bigger disappointments this season. C.J. Stroud coming off his best game of the season. Texans looking to get back to 500.
Colts are 3-point favorites against the Steelers. They're 7-1, the Colts are. Well, that tops the NFL. Their 85.0 team PFF grade is 5th in the NFL, and they are headed for the playoffs. But tough test against Pittsburgh. Steelers are 4-3. They can't really afford many slip-ups. Big opportunity for the Colts. Big-time need game here for the Steelers.
Late on the West Coast, Rice-Eccles Stadium, College game day, Utah hosting Cincinnati. Have you seen the line in this football game? 10.5 in favor of Utah. What? Cincinnati, 7 straight wins. This opened at 7.5. It's been bet up there. Brendan Sorsby's good to go. He's fine, and he's been awesome. That's a stinky line. Maybe someone knows something that we don't.
Here we go again. Chiefs and Bills. Josh Allen versus Patrick Mahomes. Josh Allen has a 4-1 edge in the regular season, but the one that matters, Patrick Mahomes, 4-0 record in the postseason. Chiefs have rebounded nicely, coming off the 0-2 start. Bills have lost 2 of 3. Who will get the upper hand in the AFC?
Cocktail party, Billy Gonzalez, former LSU assistant Billy Gonzalez, with his debut there as the interim head coach for the Gators. Number 5, Georgia, from Jacksonville against unranked Florida. Georgia 7.5-point favorite. I think, sneaky suspicion, we just might get a question in there about that one for Lee Sterling, who is coming up next. That's what to watch here with Muse, Paulie, and I. 3 things we tell you to keep an eye on every Thursday. We come back on Monday after the football weekend and recap it all. We're glad to have you hanging out with us here. Our Thursday shows are presented by Decision Critical Concierge Nursing in Baton Rouge, and I love telling you about South Point Volkswagen. Airline just north of Highland, or southpointvw.com, southpointvw.com. Again, Louisiana's largest volume Volkswagen dealer. They're just the best. If you're in the market for a new vehicle, make sure you check out our friends at South Point Volkswagen. New and certified pre-owned. So even if you're not looking to buy a Volkswagen, if you're buying and shopping a certified pre-owned vehicle, easy. Make sure you shop the South Point Volkswagen lot. Because they move so much new inventory, they get more trade-ins, they have a great selection. You win. South Point Volkswagen. southpointvw.com, South Point Volkswagen. What's your direction? All right, y'all, it is After Further Review. Thanks again to Governor Jeff Landry, who was with us at the start of this hour. If you missed that, you can catch it on demand, podcast, YouTube. It's all there for you. Ross Dellenger was here in hour number 1 as well to talk a little bit about the national reaction to the governor's comments. We will continue Lee Sterling with his best bets for the weekend. That's coming up next to wrap up hour 2 of AFR.
After Further Review.
GLO, Glow Resources, glowresources.com. Glow Resources, they're complete employer solutions at Glow Resources. And you've heard me say it enough by now. We say complete employer solutions. Actually changed it. It used to be complete employee solutions. But as Jareth Knockan and the team evaluated what they do at Glow Resources, they don't work for the employee. They work for you, the employer. They work for the business owner. They are not a temp staffing agency. They are a permanent hiring solution for any industry, any job that you might need filled. Skilled blue-collar labor, they're experts at finding those skilled blue-collar labor workers, no matter where your job may be. Maybe, like, they give me an example of an engineering firm based in Texas that was doing work in India, and they found the engineer in Mississippi who was able to relocate. They can connect all those dots to make your business the most efficient it can be. So check them out. Start online, GLO, glowresources.com.
Banking on the go? Our mobile app makes it effortless. But at Campus Federal, you're more than just an account number. We build relationships with our members, supporting you from saving for college to owning your first home. If you're buying a car, planning a home renovation, or a vacation, we're here to help. Campus Federal Credit Union, your trusted financial partner for every stage of life. Start your journey today.
We typically think of stress as being bad for us. At Our Lady of the Lake and LSU, we are researching how certain types of stress, such as exercise, can be good for our immune health. By studying people under extreme stress, such as athletes, astronauts, service members, and first responders, we're learning how to improve the immune health of everyone. That's the power of research. That's the impact of champions. Together, we roar.
While Louisiana politics can seem like they're from another planet, Moon Griffon isn't afraid to bring politicians back down to earth. Listen to the Moon Griffon Show weekday mornings at 9 on Talk 107.3.
Looking for cleaner energy? Propane is energy for everyone. Propane water heaters are very cost efficient, and the savings are even greater with a tankless propane water heater. We all know that Louisiana propane is a safe and environmentally friendly fuel. So why not go green while you save some green? I'm Miss Louisiana, Gabrielle McLeod, and for more information, visit louisianapropane.com.
At Auctioner, we know healing is a team sport.
That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Ochsner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one: you. Ochsner Andrews Institute. Long live you.
Family owned and community driven.
Service Chevrolet Cadillac, a legacy you can trust since 1972. Service Chevrolet Cadillac, our family serving your family.
For over 50 years.
These ice cubes could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they cradle and...
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Decision Critical Concierge Nursing. Healthcare for your lifestyle. Learn more at decisioncriticalbr.com.
Place your bets, gentlemen.
It's time to head to the window.
Don't gamble it all in one place.
This is Lee Sterling's Best Bets, brought to you by Paramount Sports.
We're wrapping up hour number 2 from the journalism building here, the Manship School of Mass Communication at LSU at the Sports Summit today. Awesome to be here with the next generation of Manship alums for the Sports Summit and to do this 3-hour show hanging out here. And always a pleasure to visit with Lee Sterling, ParamountSports.com. Lee, before you came on, I was giving a little preamble about Georgia, Florida, because it's going to be Billy Napier's debut as the interim head coach. Georgia, 7.5, I guess, depending where we look. Gators get the interim bump. What you think?
You know, the line the last 4 years has been at least 14 points or greater.
Oh.
So, yeah, and I don't think that much has changed. Now, sometimes you get a bump when players don't like a coach. I'll maybe next week, Brian Kelly's situation in LSU. But I think these coaches have been trying to line up employment for next year. I think the Georgia offense seems better than the individual parts, and they seem to be getting better in the second half of games. And they've beaten Florida by 14, 22, 23, and 27 points. Sometimes you got to lay it if you want to play it. Georgia, 31-20.
A couple of double-digit lines I do want to talk about. Ole Miss against South Carolina. God, the Gamecocks were so close to upsetting Alabama. Big number here for the Rebs. What do we think?
Yeah, and I think that South Carolina might have given it their all. We might have seen their best shot, and they may not have much left. So defenses like that keep trying to hold on and play at a high level and, quite frankly, aren't that talented, eventually the dam bursts. And this might be that game. And also their offensive line, they played about as well as they could play last week. Now, as long as Lane Kiffin doesn't try to go for it 4th and 1 from his 20-something yard line up 12, they might be okay. I like Ole Miss. I think they pull away late here and win this game 42-23.
Lee Sterling, ParamountSports.com. Shorter number and a couple of big ones. Tennessee against Oklahoma. This is really a do-or-die, it feels like, for both of these teams. Tennessee, 3-point favorite. Can that pass defense hold up? What do you think, Lee?
You know what? I don't know if Tennessee is going to play at this high a level as they've played on offense over and over again. I like Oklahoma as a dog much better betting them than as a favorite. John Mateer made a lot of really bad reads last week. You know, he's accustomed to trying to doing maybe a little bit too much. He needs to play more within himself. I'm hearing they talked to him and said, hey, sometimes you just got to check down here and let the talent get the ball to the playmakers here. I think they're going to do it here. Tennessee also 2-5 against the spread as a home favorite. Ranking favorite. Ooh. OU 31-28.
Couple more for you. How about Texas Vanderbilt? Arch up in the air. Will he play? Won't he? Texas a 2.5-point favorite. That one stinks to me, Lee. What say you?
All right, so Vanderbilt's crazy. 2 weeks in a row, are the feature game, the biggest game in college football. What have we come to?
Right.
I remember I had a good friend of mine. He went to Vanderbilt. He was a quarterback in high school, went to Vanderbilt as a safety. He said the first year he went there, he was in the library, and they were mocking him, the band members. One band member told him on the bye week, told him beat open, and another, when they were playing a team they were going to get blown out by Alabama, told them beat the point spread. So things have changed. They're 15-6 against the spread since the start of last year. Texas, getting by Kentucky and Mississippi State in overtime. Nick Saban would be under fire if that happened. Arch Manning may not even play in this game. If they have to go to Matthew Caldwell, who is at Jacksonville State, Gardner Webb, Troy, and now Texas, look out, they're in trouble. In his 5 starts, 8 interceptions. If you're counting on Texas, which they had 2 punt returns for touchdowns, they probably won 2 of their games. You know what? I wouldn't bet on it. Wrong team favorite, Vanderbilt straight up 24-20.
How about the Doors, man? Saints stink, man. They're a 13.5-point dog on the road. They keep it close?
Anyone wants to get that game for free? How about this? We're going to give it to them for free. 800-400-9741. Got something on that. And then the last game, Auburn and Kentucky. I think Kentucky keeps it close here.
Okay.
I think this Auburn team, when you're switching quarterbacks, I don't like Daniels a whole lot. They didn't know what to do with him. They didn't know how to game plan him because they hadn't seen him really all year. So with a week to game plan, I think Kentucky's going to give a spirited effort here. I think Auburn wins close. Another close one, 26-24.
You want Saints-Rams, 800-400-9741, 800-400-9741, 800-400-9741. Lee, what else we got going on over at Paramount Sports?
Yeah, all they need to do is check out the website. So we rate our games from 10 to 50 units. We rate them, like I said, our biggest plays are 40 to 50 unit max wagers. We have a history of record of, how about this, 73 and 29 lifetime on our biggest plays. Rarely will we have one, maybe once a month. How about this? First time ever in 17 years, 3-in-1 weekend. How do you get it? Not the November. We call it the Dovember special, a month of games, just $3.97 with coupon code SAVE100, one place. ParamountSports.com.
Use the code SAVE100 at ParamountSports.com. Lee Sterling. Thank you, sir.
Okay. Thanks, Matt.
Be well. We're brought to you by Shaw Bills Tire and Auto Service. ShawBillsTire.com. Locations all over South Louisiana. You know where to find them. Tomorrow is the last day. Tomorrow is the last day. Tomorrow is the last day for the Michelin Special. Stacking rebates plus a free installation, $118 value. That's $278 off a set of 4 new Michelin tires only at Shaw Bills Tire and Auto Service. Shop them online. Schedule your service at ShawBillsTire.com. ShawBillsTire.com. Shaw Bills, we keep you rolling. All right, hour 3 from the journalism building here at LSU kicks off after Sports Center.
AFR.
You know, it is very appropriate that we're here at LSU because part of the fabric of LSU is our friends at Our Lady of the Lake. They are the championship health partner of LSU athletics, and I could tell you from covering LSU athletics for 20 years now nearly, and having a great partnership with Our Lady of the Lake, I can tell you how much the folks at Our Lady of the Lake appreciate and respect their relationship with LSU, the care they take in taking care of the championship athletes at LSU, and they have the contract for the Student Health Center. So these students on campus as well. And then everyday champions like you and me. I've shared my own personal experience for years. Dr. Kurt Chastain with the Our Lady of the Lake Men's Health Group is my personal physician. We've taken Drew to Our Lady of the Lake Children's Hospital. Amazing resource that Our Lady of the Lake is for our community. Our Lady of the Lake and LSU. Together, we roar.
These are the luckiest ice cubes in the world. They could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they've been called upon to cradle and cool a crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Looks like the lucky just got luckier. Dos Equis.
At Luba Workers' Comp, Our journey began over 30 years ago with a simple belief. Our clients come first.
At Luva, our business has always been focused on people, not policies.
Through every success and challenge, we've continued to grow because we've stayed true to our values, committed to providing you with genuine dependability.
Because your well-being is more than a priority. It's our purpose.
At Buyout Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Buyout Ford and Buyout Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Buyout Automotive is going to do right by you.
Parish Construction and Roofing.
This is Coach Kim Mulkey. Go to parishbuilt.com for all of your roofing needs.
From your hometown, parishbuilt.com.
Raising Cane's is our victory meal.
Football fans are some of the most dedicated fans in sports. It's a fundamental quality we share, and that fuels every single order of our hand-battered chicken fingers. Wherever there's football, there's Raising Cane's.
One love. Let's go.
Every winner knows a great play starts with a solid game plan and the right team by your side. At Sunshine, we're here to keep your operation running strong. From tractors to harvesters, we've got the John Deere equipment you need to tackle every job with confidence. Because when the work's done right, there's more time for the things that matter, like cheering on your favorite team. Make Sunshine Quality Solutions part of your playbook this season and learn more about what it means to be powered by Sunshine at sunnyquip.com.
Flight by Yingling is raising the bar by crafting the next generation of light beer. With only 2.6 carbs and 95 calories, this is premium refreshment 6 generations in the making. Flight by Yingling. Raise the bar.
In South Louisiana, you can always count on good people coming together to help our children.
At Dreams Come True, we grant wishes for Louisiana children with life-threatening illnesses. But to do this, we need funds.
That's why we're trying to raise $100,000 for Dreams Come True by giving away the Blessed Builder School.
Make your backyard's dream come true while helping our kids.
Just go to dreampoolla.com and you can find out how your $25 donation might help win you a Duplessis pool.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. A much-needed lift for the Ravens tonight against the Dolphins with the return of quarterback Lamar Jackson from a hamstring injury. Not only is he back, but 2-5 Baltimore had its whole 53-man roster practicing this week. They could be a giant lurking in the AFC North and AFC races, says ESPN NFL analyst Dan Orlovsky.
We just don't know exactly what this year's team is going to be because the offense hasn't been whole and hasn't been healthy. And so this is a team last year that accomplished historical things. Like, what happens if this offense picks up kind of where it left off last year? And now all of a sudden, the AFC North is a completely different conversation than it was 2 or 3 weeks ago, and so is their AFC playoffs.
Dan Orlovsky on Unsportsmanlike. Ravens 2 out of the division lead and 2 out of the final AFC wildcard spot. Cardinals preparing for quarterback Kyler Murray to return from an injured foot Monday night against the Cowboys. NBA Cavaliers center Jared Allen questionable for tomorrow's NBA Cup against the Raptors with a broken ring finger on his left hand. An X-ray revealed a non-displaced fracture.
ESPN Radio is presented by Progressive Insurance. We make the claims process easy so you can get back on the road in no time. It's why over 43 million drivers trust Progressive. See for yourself at progressive.com.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from the Raising Cane studio.
Let's ride!
Our Hour 3, off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. It's AFR. We are presented by Decision Critical Concierge Nursing in Baton Rouge, all over the state of Louisiana. Matt, Muse, Paulie back in studio. Alondra taking care of business here on site. We are at LSU here at the Journalism Building, the Manship School of Mass Communications. I've told you many times that I'm a proud Manship School alum, and today their Sports Summit, the third annual, an awesome way that alums from the Manship School come back and talk about their careers, their experiences, to give back to the next generation of broadcasters and journalists. And we're thrilled to be here at, as I said earlier, a place where I probably never wore a sport coat and certainly had a lot more hair, meaning I had hair. No, Alondra, for real, like, you should have seen me in college. Flowing mane. And then God laughed at me and was like, hey, your dad's bald and your grandfather's bald and you're going to be really bald. And now I'm bald. So here we go. Yeah, what you got?
Is this also when you were doing open mics?
Why are you out here telling lies?
You said this on air.
Yeah. Did I say it on air?
I think we had a conversation about it.
I thought this was an off-air convo.
On air.
Yeah, your boy might have done open mic.
What goes around comes around.
Phil Brady's. We did that one. Pearl Jam was always, Be a Better Man's always a good one. Probably did some Soundgarden.
I mean, that's a choice.
And STP, we did Plush for sure. Yeah, an acoustic version of Plush. Yeah,
or Creep.
No, never did that one. But it's like, I would say that it's like, boy, we have deviated. See what you just did? See what you did?
I'm sorry. I feel like I do this all the time.
You just derailed the show. No, but it's great.
You made me sing Nickelback once on.
That happened.
Yeah.
That happened. Rockstar, the whole thing. You know, have you ever seen the movie Hitch? How about this? I'm going to make a pop culture reference that no one here will get.
I'm so proud.
But again, this is in my
in your era.
My era. If it's really since 2014, anything, I have no idea.
Yeah.
It's just a black hole. No idea. I got zero shot. But you know, whenever Hitch is telling Kevin James, like, don't dance, like, here, this is your box, stay in your box.
Yeah, stay in your box.
He's like making a pizza. Say, don't eat pizza, I got food there. Like, vocally, I know my range.
Mm-hmm.
Like, so I can stay in my box. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Know thyself.
Yeah, of course.
You have to.
All right, it's after further review. Glad to have you hanging out with us here. Mike Triplett in 25 minutes from right now. Saints getting ready to head out to L.A. to take on the Rams. Tyler Shuck's first start. We'll look forward to that chat with Mike Triplett. I know so much of the conversation around the LSU search has involved the governor in the last 24 hours or so. But they are going to have a coaching search, and they are having a coaching search. And you are hearing coaches mentioned, and every time coaches are asked about the LSU job and say something on the record, we're going to talk about it. And today, two more coaches who've been connected to the job, loosely as it may be, were asked about it, and so we're going to talk about it here. First is Dan Lanning, who was on the Rich Eisen show, and Dan Lanning was not willing to take the bait and elaborate very much at all, but this is what Dan Lanning said when asked about the head coach openings.
Yeah, I'm not leaving Oregon. Yeah, as long as I win. That's what I always tell my kids, right? If your dad wins, we'll be at Oregon. So I gotta win, right? That's how it changes.
He's winning. So, hey, Muse, what do we call what Dan Lanning just did? What level is that on the scale?
I'm going denial.
Flat out, proud of you, Muse. Give yourself a ding, no doubt about it. That was a denial. So there's the denial, there's the non-denial denial, and the non-denial. That was a flat-out denial. That was Nick Saban, I'm not going to be the Alabama coach. Dan Lanning just put himself in a box and said, I'm not leaving Oregon. Okay. So whenever you hear other coaches who are asked a point-blank question and they weave and dance and all, they're telling you, you can call me, I'll listen. I may not leave, but I'll listen. That's what Kelvin Shepard did. Now, I think Shep is a fascinating potential candidate. I don't know if he's going to get the job. I have no problem saying that if LSU offers Kelvin Shepard the job, he will take it. Shep played at LSU. He's the current DC with the Lions. And during the Lions media availability today, getting ready for the Minnesota Vikings, Shep was asked if he had interest in the LSU job. Listen how he answered it.
I can't be interested in something I have no idea about. So, I'm interested in beating the Minnesota Vikings. I'm tasked with another Tiger this week in Justin Jefferson, since we're on a Tiger conversation. And that's a tall one. He's one of the LSU greats. So that's what I'm interested in. I'm interested in seeing us come off this bye week and stop cutting ourselves short of the potential, I believe, who we could be as a defense and as a team. It's time to make this final push, and it starts with us limiting points.
Now, Muse, so what do we call that, by the way?
I'm going non-denial denial.
Good at this, Muse. I mean, you're not good at a lot, Muse, but you're betting 1,000 in this game. I tell you what, it is multiple choice, however. Okay, but this is the part that if you're an LSU fan, I want you to clutch your purple and gold beads. I want you to hold the alma mater close to your heart. This is the thing that is going to sell almost all of you on the possibility of Kelvin Shepard. Roll it.
Obviously, I've kept up with them. That's my alma mater. I keep up with them every year, every week. Spent 5 years, 6 if you include the year coaching down there. That place molded me into the man that I am today and still becoming. You cut me open, I'm a liger. I think that's what they call it. Half lion, half tiger. But that school expects championships, and they should. We hosted a trophy when I was there. They hosted one after I left there. The standard down there, just like we've created the standard here through hard work, through what you put out there, is championships. It's not just being around, it's not being competitive, and it's not winning. We should win. That's what we put ourselves in position to do over the course of time. It's championships. And that school deserves that. That fan base deserves that. And I know the people down there in place will make sure that happens moving forward.
I mean, this is going to be a fascinating hire. Because I will tell you, the reason when Brian Kelly got fired on Sunday, there's always this initial wave of who's next, and people start throwing out names. I'm not talking about people on Twitter or X. I mean the people that write checks. And I'm telling you that people that write checks mentioned to me after the Kiffin, Dan Lanning, all that, the names everybody's going to mention, right? Joe Brady, Kelvin Shepard. And when someone who's willing to write a check mentions a name, you better pay attention. Now, I'm not telling you it's going to happen. There's a great chance it happens. But I'm going to tell you again what I tell you every time we have this conversation. Believe nothing, consider everything. Just like I'm telling you with the conversations we've had over the last 2 hours about the governor's comments possibly making some of the top candidates uneasy, the way LSU is likely to structure contracts moving forward without guaranteeing 9 figures up front will eliminate the top tier candidate. When you start getting down to the second tier, you start to go, okay, well, is there a giant difference between hiring John Sumrall or Kelvin Shepard or Frank Wilson and Dan Mullen? You start to have those conversations. You don't have the conversation if you have the opportunity to hire Dan Lanning. If you have the opportunity to hire Dan Lanning, you hire Dan Lanning. But if LSU's not in that market, well, now you start to have a different conversation. And you're talking about a young guy with an NFL background, who knows defense, is crushing it right now in Detroit, gets culture, gets LSU, all the things. And remember, someone different's going to make this hire, but when you hire a coach and it doesn't work, typically you go the opposite, right? You go the opposite way. You just hired the aging veteran coach, CEO type. Wouldn't it make sense that you go the offensive background, younger, energetic, defensive-minded coach? Like, wouldn't it make sense if you made that flip, if you changed? I mean, the example I give you all the time is when, when LSU went from someone like Trent Johnson to Johnny Jones, or from John Brady to Trent Johnson in basketball. like John Brady was loud. He was abrasive. And I love Coach, by the way. And he would say this if he were sitting right here. He wouldn't object to any of this. Well, they went to a more stoic guy in Trent Johnson. And Trent Johnson was a good basketball coach, but he'd have an ounce of charisma. So they fired Trent Johnson. What did they do? They brought in Johnny Jones, LSU guy who could recruit his behind off. You want someone to love LSU? Boom, you got it. So point being, like, a lot of times when something doesn't work, you go the other way. And it's interesting to see if that might be what happens here. So I'm not saying it's going to happen. I'm just saying if you are closing yourself off to the possibility of someone like Kelvin Shepard getting the job, you better think twice, because that door is open. When you got people who are willing to write checks, as we saw on Sunday, door is open. All right. So after further review, glad you're with us. Brought to you by Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry, lmfj.com, lmfj.com. We're inching closer to the holidays. Man, in 2 days, it'll be November. Gents, all you little cupids out there thinking about popping the question around Christmas. I know, you wait till you get under some Christmas lights. Better be from Got Lit Light Installers. You get under some Christmas lights, and maybe there's a snow machine because it don't snow down here. And you get on bended knee, and you profess your love. Well, you better have a diamond from Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. I always say it's like Goldilocks. The big box stores, cookie cutter, impersonal. The boutiques, not a great selection, overpriced. Lee Michaels, just right. 10 stores, great selection. They have it. If they don't have it, they'll get it. They can't get it, they'll make it. And because they buy for 10 stores, they can give you great prices as well. And they'll always give you the Lee Michaels experience. LMFJ.com. LMFJ.com for Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. All right, y'all, it's after further review. Glad you're hanging out with us here. Thursday show is presented by Decision Critical Concierge Nursing. 17 minutes from right now, Mike Triplett is here. Tyler Shuck met with reporters in advance of his first start of his NFL career. We'll look into the injury report and all that stuff with Mike coming up 17 minutes from right now. We're looking forward to it. Let me knock out a quick break. If you want to join us, again, you can email us, tweet us. I wish you could text us, but community suspended my account, my text account. I'm pissed at them. I like, you know me. Like, I'm pissed at them right now. What a time, too. Oh, I don't need my text line. LSU fires a coach. The governor's coming on the show. No. I don't need my text line that I've built for 3 years. I want to fire those people so bad. Anyway, whatever. I don't want to go on a tangent anymore. All right, it's after further review. We'll continue next. Stay here.
AFR.
You know, I love telling you about great businesses and great business owners. And Derek Duplessis at Duplessis Builders is certainly in that number. By the way, we're sitting here doing the show today at LSU. Derek is an LSU alum. He's from Ascension Parish, went to LSU, degree in mechanical engineering with a minor in aerospace engineering, NBD. Dude was working as an engineer. Sister asked him was going to build a pool. He said, I think I can do it. Did it, started a business, 6 pools the first year, and boom, just like that. Now they're one of the fastest growing and most decorated pool companies in the country. As a matter of fact, Pool & Spa Magazine this year named Duplessis Builders a top 50 pool builder in America. Yo, you want the best? Build your beautiful pool at a great price with great service that'll last, the best warranty. DuplessisBuilders.net. Check them out online. Start there, DuplessisBuilders.net.
Today, we are shaping tomorrow.
We are researching how extreme stress impacts the immune system, from trauma victims to athletes and even astronauts.
Our work is leading the way in sepsis treatment, saving countless lives.
We're unlocking the mind with music in exciting new ways.
Our Lady of the Lake Health and LSU are improving the health of our state.
That's the impact of champions.
Imagine the impact we'll have on the future. Together, we roar.
Banking on the go? Our mobile app makes it effortless. But at Campus Federal, you're more than just an account number. We build relationships with our members, supporting you from saving for college to owning your first home. If you're buying a car, planning a home renovation, or a vacation, we're here to help. Campus Federal Credit Union, your trusted financial partner for every stage of life. Start your journey today.
When it comes to choosing energy for your family and your home, make the smart choice with natural gas. You can count on efficient and affordable natural gas to keep you comfortable and reduce your environmental impact to help protect our planet. Together, we're fueling our energy future. Atmos Energy.
Baton Rouge's home for real rock. It's Eagle 98.1. Foo Fighters. Led Zeppelin. AC/DC. Pearl Jam. And the flagship home for LSU sports. Take us anywhere with the Eagle 98.1 app. Eagle 98.1 is the rock station.
At Luba Workers' Comp, our journey began over 30 years ago with a simple belief. Our clients come first.
At Luba, our business has always been focused on people, not policies.
Through every success and challenge, we've continued to grow because we've stayed true to our values, committed to providing you with genuine dependability.
Because your well-being is more than a priority. It's our purpose.
Flight by Yingling is raising the bar by crafting the next generation of light beer. With only 2.6 carbs and 95 calories, this is premium refreshment 6 generations in the making. Flight by Yingling. Raise the bar.
Parish Construction and Roofing.
This is Coach Kim Mulkey. Go to parishbuilt.com for all of your roofing needs.
From your hometown, parishbuilt.com.
Tiger Country is 100.7 The Tiger. In the car on 100.7 FM or on the 100.7 The Tiger app.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Decision Critical Concierge Nursing. Healthcare for your lifestyle. Learn more at decisioncriticalbr.com.
I'm hoping that we can create a contract with a great coach at LSU that can be the template. Maybe that's what needs to break in order for somebody to come over here and say, listen, we're going to start building contracts based on performance based. I have no problem compensating these coaches, even at the level that we're talking about, as long as we're winning.
That was Jeff Landry on the Pat McAfee show earlier on Thursday. If you missed it, the governor spent a good 20 minutes with us here as well. And we did go deep into his feelings on contract structure. I did ask him some point-blank questions about Scott Woodward and his future, which he deflected. And I understand that. But some of the questions you got to ask. He and I, again, will continue to disagree civilly on a few points. I disagree with him about Scott Woodward. I've made my case. He's obviously does not think Scott Woodward is a very good athletic director and wants him removed. He has not said that on the record, but I think it's safe to infer from the things he said publicly and through private conversations I've had. I think Scott Woodward is an excellent athletic director. I do agree with him, however, on structuring coaches' contracts. The hard part about that, and if you're not familiar with what we're talking about, like LSU is saddled with a big buyout on Brian Kelly, because this is the conundrum. Because to lure Brian Kelly from Notre Dame, you gave him a 10-year, $95 million contract, 100 with 90% of it guaranteed. So because you didn't have any protection, now you're on the hook for this massive buyout. And you can say, well, why do you give those coaches those contracts? Because you're not getting that coach without that type of contract. Unless you're willing to spend $100 million and structure it that way where they have guarantees they're not leaving. So you have to ask yourself the question, do you want to hire that coach? Do you want to reduce risk by hiring the more proven commodity but guaranteeing them that money? Or do you try to I don't want to say go on the cheap, but you find a more affordable route? Ross Dellenger was with us in hour one. He pointed out that's basically what Mike Elko did. He took a smaller upfront number with a bonus structure that allows him to escalate his contract if they win. Now, the problem he's going to have is they're winning at a rate where now A&M is going to have to give him a new contract. It's probably going to have all the bonus all the guarantees in it. But in any event, there are things that he and I do agree on, but it's going to take someone being forward-thinking and willing to take that risk, because the other part of it with an athletic director is, by and large, your success, failure is judged on how successful your football coach hires. Look, Scott Woodward hired Jay Johnson. Jay Johnson wasn't a proven commodity. I understand that he had gotten Arizona to the College World Series. But LSU and Arizona are not the same. We all know that. He's come here. He's won 2 titles in 3 years. Scott Woodward hired Kim Mulkey. And you can say anybody could hire Kim Mulkey. Sure can. Can anyone fundraise to spend $3 million on the women's basketball coach? No, they can't. It takes the person who knows the right calls to make, the right trees to shake, to make sure you get done what you need done. And that's one of the things he does exceptionally well. As a matter of fact, Ryan Clark was on First Take today on ESPN, and Ryan was one of the former players that spoke to the team today as well. And Ryan Clark spoke about Scott Woodward and the opportunity to make the next hire.
Scott Woodward is a good man. Scott Woodward is a man that cares about LSU. In the greatest times, back in the day, he understood what it was like to be a part of a winner, and he's brought more winners back to the school. He didn't miss because Brian Kelly wasn't capable. He missed because Brian Kelly was no longer willing. Brian Kelly was no longer tapped in. Brian Kelly didn't care if the people of Louisiana cared about him, and he didn't care if the players knew that he cared about them. That's where it went wrong. Not in picking a man who was the winningest all-time coach in Notre Dame history. And so for me, it's emotional, clearly, and it pisses me off, but Scott Woodward deserves to pick the next head coach.
You're going to hear a lot of that. Of course, I agree. The other piece of this, again, is I guess my point in doing this exercise is to illustrate, like, you can disagree with Jeff Landry on some principles, which I clearly do. And I don't like the fact that he's being so vocal and outspoken, because I do think that's going to have a negative effect on LSU's ability to conduct a meaningful search. That doesn't mean they're going to land on the wrong candidate. But there can also be things that you agree on. And I think it's important to highlight those as well. So Josh Pate was also on Get Up today. Saw Josh in Nashville, great dude, super thrilled for his success. He does an awesome job. And listen to what Josh Pate said about the opportunity to have success at LSU.
Well, if I could get anyone I wanted, I would go after Marcus Freeman. Now, if Marcus Freeman says, thanks, but no thanks, I'd tell him, hey, I've cleaned up the political structure down here. You're good. And if he still says, all due respect, no thanks, I'm not sure my list would look like theirs. My list would look like a guy who really, really knows how to coach ball and who understands how to harness the infrastructure of Louisiana. And that just means let him put the rocket boosters on you that they put on Les Miles, that they put on Ed Orgeron. I would have no problem going after a guy like Matt Campbell at Iowa State for all I care. John Summerall at Tulane in state would work fine here. Truth be told, there are about 25 or 30 football coaches in America that could win at LSU if they just stayed in their lane and everyone else stayed in their lane and you properly harness Louisiana.
Number might be higher than that, but it's a really interesting perspective, isn't it? Because I know I have been conditioned over the years to think you got to go for the big name. You're LSU. You have the resources. The expectation are championships. And I still believe in the prior era, you needed that. You needed a head coach that knew how to be a head coach and be successful and win. I don't know necessarily that you need that in this era. I think you need a coach that knows how to navigate this era. And there's probably a lot of guys who can absolutely do that. Dan Patrick on his show today agreed with Jeff Landry about coaches' contracts.
I don't know what the press conference was about, but I know what it became about, because it was about, picking your successor to Brian Kelly and doing it in a fiscal way. Now, I don't know if this means, hey, how about not a 10-year deal? You should never be tied up for 10 years with a coach with that amount of money. You may not get the guy you want, but you might get somebody who is on the precipice of being somebody, and maybe you get them at a better price. Don't go over 5 years. Don't. In today's college football climate, nobody's staying around for 10 years, whether they want to leave or you want them to leave. Sustainability is so difficult now. I'm not signing up for 10 years with anybody. I'd have a prenup.
So it's basically a question of, are you willing to recalibrate what you think the LSU coach should be? Are you willing to say we're not going over 5 years? It's going to be an incentive-laden deal. Who wants to play ball? You go that route this time, and if it works, great. And if it doesn't, because there's coaches that will take that deal. There's absolutely coaches that will take that deal, but they're not named Dan Lanning, Marcus Freeman, Lane Kiffin. You got to punt that dream. And if it doesn't work, and we're 4 years down the road, and you fired another football coach, are you maybe more incentivized to spend again? It's a fascinating time. But all that is to illustrate that as bombastic as that press conference was a day ago, as kind of crazy as it is for the governor to make those types of overt statements about the athletic director, I'm not calling him crazy. I mean, it's a crazy thing to watch, right? I mean, we just don't see that. There were things in there that he said that were smart and make a lot of sense that a lot of people agree with. You just kind of have to like peel back the layers of all the whatever else that gooey gunk was in that press conference. It made everybody feel really uncomfortable about the future of the program and the coaching search to get to the things that were really smart that he was talking about. Maybe those are the conversations we can have as we move forward. All right, it's After Further Review. Thursday show is presented by Decision Critical, not just healthcare. It's healthcare for your lifestyle. DecisionCriticalBR.com. DecisionCriticalBR.com. Call Blasia and her team from birth to end-of-life care. Maybe you're new parents, you have a newborn, you're coming home and you need to sleep. Well, their nurses can come watch the baby during the night while you and your significant other, your spouse, get some sleep. That's part of what they can do. If it's thoughtful, loving care for the end of life and everything in between. Decision Critical Concierge Nursing. DecisionCriticalBR.com. All right, I got to break, y'all. Come back, Mike Triplett. Let's talk some Saints. They're getting ready to hit the West Coast, take on the Rams out at SoFi on Sunday. First start for Tyler Shuck. We'll talk about it with Mike Triplett next on AFR.
AFR.
We're brought to you by the Watermark and the Renaissance. Watermark, downtown, Renaissance, Southtown. That's what they call that area right there on Bluebonnet across from the Mall of Louisiana and Perkins Row. But look, Watermark, Baton Rouge's premier hotel property, actually not far from where I work every single day, right there on 3rd Street. And look, they got two awesome dining options as well inside of Watermark Baton Rouge. They got Milford's on 3rd, which faces 3rd Street, as you guess. It's sort of the casual sort of sandwich shop. And then they have the Gregory, which is in the lobby there of Watermark Baton Rouge. Fine dining, amazing. They have a charcoal oven, an indoor charcoal oven. So like when you walk into the lobby of the Watermark and you see the Gregory, like you will see straight into that oven and those amazing aromas just waft through the air. Beautiful, bar area to have a cocktail. Watch foot traffic there downtown on Florida and 3rd. It's Watermark Baton Rouge. Check them out. It's Baton Rouge's premier hotel property. Watermark Baton Rouge.
ED, low T, or simply seeking to optimize your health and performance? Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness offers a range of discreet services to address your specific needs. We empower men to reclaim their health and confidence. Visit yourgoodwood.com.
In South Louisiana, you can always count on good people coming together to help our children.
At Dreams Come True, we grant wishes for Louisiana children with life-threatening illnesses. But to do this, we need funds.
That's why we're trying to raise $100,000 for Dreams Come True by giving away the Blessed Builders School.
Make your backyard's dream come true while helping our kids.
Just go to dreampoolla.com and you can find out how your $25 donation might help win you a Duplessis pool.
At Luba Workers' Comp, our journey began over 30 years ago with a simple belief. Our clients come first.
At Luba, our business has always been focused on people, not policies.
Through every success and challenge, we've continued to grow because we've stayed true to our values, committed to providing you with genuine dependability.
Because your well-being is more than a priority. It's our purpose.
BRAC teamed up to reimagine your parks, and you imagined big. With your help, we went to work, creating 12 beautiful community parks across the parish. A family-sized water park, miles and miles of trails, and parks just for your dogs. There are more places to splash, to explore, to run wild, and even soar. You imagined, we delivered. Gold. BRAC. your #1 park system in the nation.
Trust isn't given, it's earned by showing up, leading the way, and performing at your best when it matters most. Our Lady of the Lake sports medicine experts know what it takes to improve performance and build champions at every level. That's why LSU chose Our Lady of the Lake as its championship health partner, trusting Louisiana's best medical team to care for our state's best athletes. From championship athletes to everyday champions, trusted care starts here.
I trust the lake.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
These are the luckiest ice cubes in the world. They could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar, but instead, they've been called upon to cradle and cool a crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Looks like the lucky.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Decision Critical Concierge Nursing. Healthcare for your lifestyle. Learn more at decisioncriticalbr.com.
Mike! Yeah?
New Orleans Saints coverage with some Mad Libs mixed in.
Why don't you just go by Mike?
It's time to talk black and gold with Mike Triplett of New Orleans Football. Presented by Benny's Car Wash. Family owned and operated since 1951.
It was a great feeling, but knowing that he was just complimentary of the work that I've done behind the scenes, and I was going to be the starter for this week, and obviously continually so. But he just was kind of talking about what we need to do offensively, how we can kind of turn this around a little bit, and just looking forwardly. So it was a good feeling, but also in the same breath, we had a lot of work to do. So that's my mindset. And nothing changes process-wise, but the sense of urgency does. We're just going to have fun. We got to go out there and put points on the board and go out there and win.
All right, Mike Triplett joins us. We got news. Tyler Shuck will be the starter. Mike, thanks for the time as always. Reaction to Shuck making his first start?
It's new. It's different. I'm all for it, right? This team needs to be exploring possibilities. I mean, there are different worlds where Spencer Rattler did a really good job. He exceeded my expectations. There's alternate realities where he could have a lot of success in this league, but this is a 1-7 rebuilding team that's throwing rookies in half the position groups across the roster to try to think about the future. And you drafted a quarterback at 40. It was time to do that at quarterback too, I think.
Okay. What do we think is let's go back one more before we go forward. Yeah. What do you think ultimately was the reason that this was the time to make the change?
It was a little earlier than I expected, to be honest, Matt. Well, I take it back. If Rattler had struggled more, I thought it could have happened any time after the first month of the season. But the way Rattler was playing, I was kind of eyeballing the bye week or maybe the Carolina game before the bye week, get your feet wet, and then have 2 weeks to go over it and make adjustments. But I can't help but wonder if once Kellen Moore got the idea in his head, he was ready to, pull the trigger at a moment's notice, and that moment's notice came in the game. I don't think he went into that game planning to make a switch during the game, but I think once he had it in his head that, I think a week before that he said it's a week-to-week decision. I just think the idea kept growing in his head, and he was ready to do it. And then obviously Spencer Rattler opened the door by having, after he only had one turnover in the first 6 games, he had 6 turnovers in 6 straight quarters, 1 in each quarter exactly, before he was benched. And then the offense as a whole, this is what Kellen Moore has said a bunch of times, like they need to make a lot of changes on offense, including the way they're coaching it, including the way they're calling it, including some of the things they're doing. But the offensive as a whole had grown really, really stale. They were just not. They would get past the 50-yard line and then just fall off. And, obviously this comes in the wake of a game in which they just scored 3 total points.
What is, in your estimation, a realistic expectation for Tyler Shuck against the Rams?
Against the Rams, I don't think there could be a more difficult matchup for any quarterback on the Saints schedule this whole season that they've played.
Awesome.
Even tougher games, Buffalo, Tampa, I don't think anyone else has a defense that's good. and a defensive front this good. So he's like, be prepared to see a couple turnovers. Be prepared to see him make a mistake when he's under heavy pressure. And he's going to be facing a 3rd and 13, and they're going to tee off on him, and he's going to make a move that's unflattering. But I also think that is going to give, I don't know, maybe some wiggle room in how we view it. Since we're, what are they, 14.5-point underdogs? Like, we're expecting doom and gloom. So if he has 2 turnovers, but he also hits Rashid Shaheed, has a successful 2-minute drill, converts a couple third downs with his legs, as long as we see glimpses of what they can build on, and like knowing this is week 1 out of like a 10-week audition, I think we're looking for the positives as much as kind of knowing there's going to be negatives. We're gonna see a little of both for sure.
Just to clarify, provided he stays healthy, you think Shuck starts the rest of the season?
That's certainly the plan. I think he would have to flame out pretty tremendously for them to, switch back and really be in over his head. I can't rule that out, but it won't be about wins at that point. And if this is a 1-13 team at some point, then it's going to be like, well, we better look at him for 4 more weeks. Otherwise, we're drafted quarterback with the number 1 pick next year.
Yeah. Mike Triplett, he's on Twitter at Mike Triplett. NewOrleans.football chats every Thursday here, presented by Benny's Car Wash, giving us a new reason, a new meaning of intrigue for this game this weekend against the Rams to watch Tyler Shuck. So, Mike, the other part of this comes, okay, well, what's around Tyler Shuck this weekend when you consider injury situations? And maybe the better question is, with the trade deadline coming Tuesday, are there any players that might sit that they don't want to risk injury?
No, they won't do that, I don't think. I guess I think you might as well just go ahead and make the trade before a game if you're going to do that. But if they had something in place, but it's a fair question if they're like so sure they want to trade Rashid Shaheed, but I don't think they're going to do that. I think he'll have his full complement of offensive pieces for at least 1 game. If any of those guys are going to be traded, whether it's Shaheed or Brandon Cooks, he'll have all of them available for this game. The real shame of it is obviously that Eric McCoy's out for the season. Nothing would be a better friend to any young quarterback than the kind of veteran center that Eric McCoy is. But other than that, the full offensive line is intact. So, and he's got out with the Mary doesn't have Kendry Miller. So not perfect, but pretty close to what you would want. They better start catching the ball for him better than they were catching it and holding on to it better than they were for Spencer Rattler, though.
Well, look, even the interception that Tyler Shuck threw was one that Chris Olave had ripped right out of his hands by Antoine Winfield. Yep. So it's been a problem this year, obviously, and both of these young quarterbacks, just their weapons aren't helping him any. So, Mike, the conversation, all the focus, of course, is going to be on Shuck at the quarterback. But you and I have talked about this now for 2 months. It's a season where you want to see what you have in a lot of potential future cornerstone pieces. It's hard to recognize when you're 1-7, but are there things that you could step back right now, or players that you could step back and say, they've got something there, and that's a guy that could be a starter for a half decade here?
Yeah. There's not tons of guys that I'm like, you're building around them, but I would actually say that is the one sort of shining light or saving grace, silver lining, whatever you want to call it, of this season so far. Is that was number one most important to me on this team, was seeing progress and promising signs from the guys who are going to be here for several years to come. And I think it's been pretty positive with Kelvin Banks, the first-round pick, and I think it's been pretty positive with Tali Fuaga, last year's first-round pick, and I think it's been trending positive lately with Kool-Aid McKinstry, last year's second-round pick. He had a really good game this last week, and he's been trending positive. Obviously, you like what you're seeing out of the rookie class, and they're getting them all on the field, those mid-round picks like Jonas Sanker and Danny Stutzman and Quincy Riley and now Devin Neal. I don't know that those guys are going to be top 10 players for this team. Maybe Sanker could be, but they look like guys who are going to build out a roster. So I would say some of the things you're disappointed about are some of the things you expected to be disappointed about. Luckily, I would say that the guys who are young and are going to be around for a while have been pretty promising for the most part, except for obviously the Devon Bailey experiment so far. You'd like to see him get a lot more involved in the second half of this season.
There is Jalen Polk next year too. I mean, it's crazy that I'm sitting here trying to pump Jalen Polk right now. This is when you're 1-7. Give me something, God. All right, Mike. Is there a path for the Saints this weekend to maybe mess up and win this game?
Only in the greater NFL weird things happen sense. But this to me is probably the most confident I've been in picking against the Saints all year and the widest point margin. Although I don't think I will pick less than 14 points. I think that's a pretty surprising point spread considering how feisty the Saints have been. Even against the Niners and the Bills, and they could backdoor their way to finishing within two scores, right? But other than that, no. There's a lot of things that don't match up well for them. The Rams are coming off a bye. They're getting Puka Nacua back. They've got Matthew Stafford, who I think is leading the league in touchdown passes this year. This is a bad matchup for this team.
Yeah, the Saints have played.
So here's your positive. Look at the schedule past this game, and it's like a college football season in reverse. They've got the non-conference opponents coming up throughout November and December.
The Saints have played 3 road games. They've lost all 3 by double digits. I'm not in any way confident, but I appreciate your attempt at some degree of confidence. Mike Triplett, courtesy of Benny's Car Wash, Benny'sCarWash.com, Benny'sCarWash.com, unlimited car wash membership club. Highly recommend it. Did that several years ago when we started these segments with Mike, and Benny's jumped aboard, and it's awesome. I mean, you just got a little sticker. You pull right in, you pull right through. Wash as many times as you want. Benny'sCarWash.com. Mike, all right, give me something then this weekend, someone other than Tyler Shuck to keep an eye on. Last thing for the Saints-Rams.
Yeah, Kool-Aid fascinates me a lot. He carries himself like a really confident guy who belongs in a cornerback 1 or at least a cornerback 2 role. You'd like to see him be a building block for the future. Had that great performance in the goal line stand, and now he's going up against Puka Nacua and Devontae Adams. So he might not get tested like this more rigorously than the rest of the season. So he's a fun one to watch for me.
Mike Triplett, we appreciate it. Thank you.
Thanks for having me.
All right, man. Be well. Kool-Aid stinks. He stinks. I ain't watching Kool-Aid. He stinks. He might be a nice rotational piece somewhere down the line. He's not a number 1 corner. It's one of the things I've learned this year. Every time he goes up against someone else's number 1, he gets just absolutely torched. Which is why if the Saints can find something in Tyler Shuck and they end up not using a top 5 pick on a quarterback, I wouldn't be opposed to taking the best cornerback in April's draft. You're going to see it this weekend. I mean, Matthew Stafford, even though he's 107 years old and he's put together with bubble gum and duct tape, is still just slicing people. And the Rams, Stafford may throw for 700 yards. Or not really, people. Don't hold me to that. But they're going to get torched this weekend. And it's going to be another reminder. It doesn't matter if it's JSN or any of the other number 1s that they've had to go up against this year. Kool-Aid can't hang. They need a number 1 corner. All right, it's after further review. We'll get to Otterlocks whenever we come back to wrap up the show here. We're at LSU's campus at the Journalism Building. Been an awesome show, and we appreciate very much our friends here from the Manship School of Mass Communication, Dean Kim Bissell, my buddy Chad Sabady, of course, Professor Sabady, who invited us here to put on this awesome event, and thrilled to hang out. So we'll knock out our final break of the show, come back. Otterlocks is next. Stick around.
AFR.
Thinking of selling your home? You need Darin James. Listen, if you're thinking of selling your home and I'm going to do the for sale by owner thing, I want to just caution you. This is data. 73% of people that list their home for sale by owner end up hiring a realtor. 3 out of 4. 3 out of 4 people that list their home for sale by owner end up hiring a realtor. Why? Could be a lot of reasons. You don't know how to properly price your home. You don't know how to properly show your home. Maybe you're just not around enough for the showings. There's a lot of reasons why you need a realtor and their expertise. And there's nobody better than Darin James. Not my opinion. He's on the Wall Street Journal's list of the top 1% of realtors in America. Think about that. No realtor in the state of Louisiana. He's number 1 in Louisiana on the transaction side. Nobody gets to the closing table more than Darin James. So You need to sell your home fast. You need to make the most amount of money. You need Darin James. Agent225.com.
Think real estate, think Darin James.
Need security services you can count on? With Veteran Security Services, you're always protected. Locally owned and proudly serving the Gulf Coast, they're not some big national firm chasing profits. They're neighbors protecting neighbors. From petrochemical plants and healthcare facilities to port and maritime operations, Veteran Security delivers reliable protection you can trust. Choose community. Choose confidence. Choose Veteran Security Services. Visit veteransecurityfirm.com.
Raising Cane's is our victory meal.
Football fans are some of the most dedicated fans in sports. It's a fundamental quality we share, and that fuels every single order of our hand-battered chicken fingers. Wherever there's football, there's Raising Cane's.
One love. Let's go.
Parish Construction and Roofing.
This is Coach Kim Mulkey. Go to parishbuilt.com for all of your roofing needs.
From your hometown, parishbuilt.com.
Hi, this is Beth Tarina. Welcome to my pool. The first time I saw this beautiful pool, it exceeded every expectation that I had. They were able to get everything we wanted in this pool. It is a beautiful pool. We live out here, we eat out here, we watch TV out here. This is like our living room outside. We love this pool and everything about it. When we decided to build our pool, we called a great friend who is one of the best pool builders in the country in North Louisiana, and we said, who would you choose to build a pool in Baton Rouge? And without a hesitation, he told us Russell Pools. He said their history, tradition of great builds, great pools was unmatched. So of course, who did we call? Russell Pools. The advice I would give to anyone looking to build a pool is first call Russell Pools. They'll do an incredible job. It'll be incredibly organized. It'll be time efficient, and you will have your pool in no time.
Today, we are shaping tomorrow.
We are researching how extreme stress impacts the immune system, from trauma victims to athletes and even astronauts.
Our work is leading the way in sepsis treatment, saving countless lives.
We're unlocking the mind with music in exciting new ways.
Our Lady of the Lake Health and LSU are improving the health of our state.
That's the impact of champions.
Imagine the impact we'll have on the future. Together, we roar.
At Ochsner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Ochsner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one. You. Ochsner Andrews Institute.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Decision Critical Concierge Nursing. Healthcare for your lifestyle. Learn more at decisioncriticalvr.com.
Down the stretch we come, final segment here on a Thursday edition of AFR presented by Decision Critical. Always thrilled to have you aboard with us. Thanks for hanging out. If you missed, Governor Jeff Landry was with us at the top of hour number 2. If you missed anything, you can get it on demand wherever you get your podcast. Just search After Further Review. Same with YouTube. You want specifically LSU content or specifically Saints content, just search AFR LSU or AFR Saints. It's all right there for you. Bite-sized, packaged up, off we go. All right, one thing left to do, find out what we're betting on tonight. Here, it's time for Otterlocks.
Otterlocks.
All right, time to win some money.
Presented by Total Maintenance AC Repair. Same-day service means you will never sleep hot. 480-1000. We are Total Maintenance.
I think it's safe to say that I won the bet.
Otter, how are you?
Good, man. How about you?
Doing freaking awesome, man. Fired up. Great day.
You in the J building?
I'm in the J building.
Right. You know, when I first started taking classes there, they actually had typewriters, and I'm not BSing. So I wouldn't BS you as a Louisiana taxpayer.
Hey man, it's funny walking through a lot of the classrooms here and in Hodges next door in the basement. I just remember like sitting at those awful Avid editing bays, which like that makes me feel old, and you have no idea. I guarantee you have no idea what Avid is, but like I'm glad that you're way older, that you had typewriters.
we transitioned from KPRG in the stadium to the basement of Hodges Hall for LSU.
That a bit? How about it, man? The freaking honor rolling up here with a history lesson. We got J school students hanging out in here watching the show, man. They're just listening to this old guys tell tall tales.
Yeah. I was fired up about my little desk I had there as chief announcer my senior year. I'm still waiting on my desk at Guarantee. But anyway, I had one at one point.
If you want a desk at Guarantee, we can make that happen. The entire insurance side of the building is why I give you a floor. Jimmy, I give you the entire second floor if you want it.
As a Louisiana taxpaying citizen, I think I need one. So anyway,
let's make it happen.
I'll take it. No parameters on this office space, huh? At a Guarantee. So anyway.
Oh man, I'll get you what you need. Look. You know I know who to call. I can make things happen. They give me a little bit of autonomy over there. So you want a desk? I got you a desk.
Yeah.
But that just means you'd have to show up.
No. That's okay. Let's go. Let's get to the picks.
Go ahead, get to the picks. What you got? Thursday night football.
Oh man, our buddy Big Dog Randy McKay gave us 3 rocking chairs last weekend, including the Thursday night special with the Rams and the Vikings. And Chargers and Vikings. He's got another one for us tonight. Everybody thinks of Lamar Jackson because he's back. Everything is going to be fine and dandy. Just resume as business as usual with the Baltimore Ravens. He and I kind of have a little bit of a concern there. Miami, listen, that's more of an outlier than something you can expect. But doggone it, you can't beat a team any worse than what they did against the Atlanta Falcons on Sunday. So we're taking the home dog. Thursday night's always been home friendly.
Yep.
We'll take the 7.5 in the fish there.
Yeah. All right. What about the college games?
College game, Tulane went from 3.5 to 5.5. And, with the parameters placed on the LSU hire, we're going to go get the Tulane coach, and in a concerned Louisiana taxpaying citizen. I think it'll be a cheaper deal for us and save us a little taxpayer money hiring a Tulane coach after a loss and not as a win. So I'm dead with my heart here. I'm going to take the Roadrunners plus the points at home.
All right, UTSA plus 5.5 in San Antonio, and the Dolphins plus 7.5 at home on Thursday Night Football in the NFL. Nothing on Marshall and Coastal Carolina?
No. Coastal is really bad. I can say that.
All right.
They're really bad.
All right.
Really bad. No.
Football Friday at Rufino's?
Yeah, 10 a.m. 10 a.m. tomorrow. Not a whole lot going on, but we'll try and stretch 3 hours tomorrow, starting at 10 with Richard and Richard Dixon and Charlie Starton. We're reviewing the tape, because calling out the people. So anyway, go get him, Coach Frank. Let's go, baby. He's already had commitments. So let's
live at lunch, starting at 10 a.m. mañana there at Rufino's. Go by, see Charlie, Jimmy, and Richard Dixon. Thanks, Otter.
All right, good luck.
Same to you, man. We're brought to you by Relief Windows, reliefwindows.com. Windows, door siding, they do shutters as well. Relief Windows and reliefwindows.com. Brandon Holly and the gang, awesome people, man. Brandon's been a dear friend for a long time, and I can tell you, as good and ethical a human as you'd ever want to meet. It extends to every person in their business. I know we're just talking about windows, door siding, and shutters, but when everyone in the business has the mentality that the owner has, that spend your last dollar to make the customer happy, you bet you're going to have an incredible customer service experience, beautiful windows. It'll beautify the exterior of your home, lower your energy bills, lifetime transferable warranty, one place, Relief Windows, and reliefwindows.com. All right, y'all, let's do it for us here, man. What a great day, man. A cool opportunity to do a show here at the Journalism Building here in the Holiday Forum. Go Manship, proud alum, and always happy to come back when invited. So that'll do it for us. Muse Pauly back in studio. Alondra on site. Thanks so much. Have a great night. See you tomorrow at 3.
After further review.
As we get on down the road, remind you about Arco Power Systems, ARCCO, Arco Power Systems. That's ARCCO, arco.com. Amazing business that I've gotten to know here in the last several months. Right there on Airline Highway in Baton Rouge. But y'all, Arco Power Systems but this is industrial generator power. Okay, this is not like a standby generator for your home. These are generators for your industrial, your commercial buildings, right? Your storm comes, your office, your business loses power. What do? Arco. Yo, they have offices north up to Little Rock, east to Mobile, west to San Antonio, also Houston, Dallas, Austin, and all over Louisiana. So if you're a business anywhere in that footprint and you need standby generator power for your business, you need Arco Power Systems. ARCCO. Go to arco.com, arco.com, ARCCO, arco.com for Arco Power Systems.
At Luba Workers' Comp, our journey began over 30 years ago with a simple belief: our clients come first.
At Luba, our business has always been focused on people, not policies.
Through every success and challenge, we've continued to grow because we've stayed true to our values, committed to providing you with genuine dependability.
Because your well-being is more than a priority. It's our purpose.
Looking for cleaner energy? Propane is energy for everyone. And when you're cooking with clean, affordable propane, you're cooking with gas. In the wintertime, nothing heats a home like Louisiana propane. And when you need hot water, propane's got you covered. Oh, and you won't regret that propane generator when the power goes out. I'm Miss Louisiana, Gabrielle McLeod, and to find more information and to find a propane dealer near you, visit louisianapropane.com.
ED, low T, or simply seeking to optimize your health and performance? Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness offers a range of discreet services to address your specific needs. We empower men to reclaim their health and confidence. Visit yourgoodwood.com.
Every winner knows a great play starts with a solid game plan and the right team by your side. At Sunshine, we're here to keep your operation running strong. From tractors to harvesters, we've got the John Deere equipment you need to tackle every job with confidence. Because when the work's done right, there's more time for the things that matter, like cheering on your favorite team. Make Sunshine Quality Solutions part of your playbook this season and learn more about what it means to be powered by Sunshine at sunequip.com.
Breck teamed up to reimagine your parks, and you imagined big. With your help, we went to work, creating 12 beautiful community parks across the parish. A family-sized water park, miles and miles of trails, and parks just for your dogs. There are more places to splash, to explore, to run wild, and even soar. You imagined, we delivered. Gold. Breck, your #1 park system in the nation.
Supreme Jasmine is premium American-grown rice. From local farms to your table, every grain is supreme. Pick up a bag of Jasmine or any other of our Supreme American rice.
Tiger Country is 100.7 The Tiger. In the car on 100.7 FM or on the 100.7 The Tiger app. 90s country and beyond. 100.7 The Tiger.